guys, what's going on? FYMyPawn here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Road Trader. Since we last left off, if I do recall correctly, we had just recently escaped from, well, we escaped the Drakari from their realm, Kimura I believe it's called, and we managed to escape to real space, in where we rebuilt our character to be built more inclined to the Space Marine aspect of things. And from here, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be helping Dargonus to start out with. We are then probably going to go to Footfall, and we'll see what other planets we get to do. But I digress. Without further ado, let's get into things and see what happens. Alright, so, if I recall correctly, we've already rebuilt our character, so we are now fully operational to a certain extent when it comes to statistics. We could certainly do with an increase in commerce and persuasion, but overall, everything seems to be in order. We just have a little bit of a lower warp scaling, we have a little bit of lower commerce and persuasion, but I mean, everything is at 100 plus, for the most part, beyond those three, so we're doing quite well, I would say. And besides, we have things like the Omnissiah Holy Symbol, which will allow for special roles, which is nice. And we also got some pretty interesting artifacts here, which can certainly help in a pinch, if we ever need them. Not that we are going to, but it's there if it we use it, so that's nice. We also got a few other things here that we don't necessarily need, but it's all there if we ever need it. But for now, the Artificer armor seems to be the go-to here, and it's going to reduce our heavy weapons costs up by another point, so that's going to be really nice. Now, if we could get some more heavy weapons, that'd be really nice, but, we can only do so much here. We'll just have to hope the Heavy Bolter isn't the only thing that we can get here that is technically considered a heavy weapon. But yeah, no, we're just going to be continuing from here, I guess, and we'll see how things pan out. Okay, but yeah, heavy bolter is requiring a 60 strength, but we reduced that a little bit, so there you go. Strength is 70 because we're wearing power armor. So yeah, we're doing quite well, I'd say. The only issue we're going to be suffering from is obviously the dodge penalties, but we will make up for that by just outscaling the enemy and by using the cautious approach. So as long as we just continue to stack up our armor, we're going to be fine, I think. So we will be theoretically immortal, it's just a matter of time more than anything. Now if we can increase our damage rates, that would be even better, but you can only do so much when you got a gunslinger helmet. As much as I hate to say. I mean, worst case, I could wear something else, but yeah. At least we got plenty of parry, we got plenty of weapon damage, we'll be fine. But regardless, we're going to start off by going to the Corona's Expanse here, and we're going to start seeing what weapons we can get. So we are going to start by dealing with Janus here, I do believe. Because... oh, we've got also contacts here, so we should probably deal with this as well. Okay, profit factor 3. Oh. Yeah, so we got a lot of contacts here that we gotta do here. Okay. For 3 profit factor, we can get Xenotech. We're gonna get that. For Adamantine, we can get Mechanisms. For Xenotech, we can get weapons. For chemicals, we can get plasteel. Okay, for weapons, we'll get provisions. For Xenotech, we will get weapons, but I'm doing it so we get the trades in, at most. There we go. I do it mainly so we get the trades in, but that's about it. I don't really care too much about the contracts, mainly. But the fact that we're trading is good enough for me, so that's nice. Alright, to start off with, let's see. Errands. We don't need to worry about errands for now. Price of Humanity. Reach the system mentioned in Melina's message. We need to accompany Jay to Footfall. Let's visit Dargonus to start with. So we're going to go back to the Coronis Expanse, and we'll see where we need to go here. Because there's going to be some signals on where we need to go. Okay. So we need to go to Footfall, obviously. We need to go to the Nameless Star, and that is the Querza Temper. But we're going to start by going to Mundus Valentius here. Because this is going to be necessary here anyways. Lord Captain, we have visitors on the bridge seeking an audience. Your presence is required. Okay, there's even more that we gotta deal with, jeez. Alright, let's see what they have to say, really. Well, it was to be expected. We're gonna be dealing with a lot of stuff after all. Alright, so let's see. Oh, hello. Bunch of people are, okay. Your lordship. The High Factorum bows lowly. Every few moments, Dark Danrock performs a perfumed cloth to his face, but his expression remains ubiquitous. Members of your crew have made a request to allow them to proclaim their most profound devotion to the Lord Captain. Personally, young man. A man in a worn uniform bows awkwardly. Highness, gracious Lord Captain, please let me speak on behalf of the whole crew, and everyone, and express our gratitude to you. Officially, so to speak. The kind of leader you are, and the way you treat people, is not known in every corner of the expanse. From Footfall to the poorest, dirtiest, and most unremarkable planet, I'll praise your dedication to the human spirit and goodwill. Everyone wants to serve under your command. There's no end to the volunteers. The other day, when we were cleaning out an abandoned sector for new living quarters, we found a forgotten vault. Right in the bilge of the ship, literally beneath our feet. Well, it turned out the vault had some centuries-old weapons in it. They looked a bit odd, but they're powerful for sure. The good tech priests helped them assemble with the assembly and consecration of the weapons. And now you can strike down your enemies with even greater might. Oh, lordship. Apart from the weapons, the crew has sent one more find to the bridge as a token of its eternal gratitude. A most ancient mechanism, which our tech priests have dubbed a Celestium Observatorium. Alas, its machine spirit refuses to heed their rights, which makes the device more symbolic and aesthetic than practical purpose. Do you wish to see it? Sure, why not? Oh, okay. Alright, so we're given a very interesting mechanical thing, as it were. Alright. Let's just save it as that. I don't really feel like being creative here, so let's investigate here. The Celestium Observatorium looms over the deck. The spirit of this ancient mechanism has gone silent forever. The words intricately inscribed on its frame can still serve as a source of resolve. A keen gaze sunders the darkness, a bloom with deceit, and reduces all corruption to ash. Huh. Cool. Good to see that everybody's having their fun times and chilling. That's good. There's a lot of ocular things, so we got a bunch of observatory things here. So yeah, when you reach a certain point in the story, you basically change your ship to look a bit, you know, interesting, to say the least. It basically changes a few things here and there, but nothing that would dramatically change your hold. For the most part, anyways. Alright, let's visit Dargonus. And let's go help out in dealing with the first quest, which is going to be helping clear Abelard's name. Alright. Off to Dargonus we go. We are not going to be taking anybody else. Abelard is going to be the only person we take, and we will continue from there. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand aside. No need to crowd around. Governor Drivestem will take care of everything. This is ridiculous. Such thing happening right in the Rogue Trader's palace. You are confronted by the sight of dead bodies at the entrance to the palace. The corpses have been hauled into a pile. Some are dressed in uniform, palace wardens, while others are arrayed in clothing typical of the Dargonus nobility. Upon seeing you, the young enforcer stands at attention and swallows noisily. His voice trembles as he says, Your lordship, we are honored by your presence. Let's examine the assailants. The bodies of the assailants are studded with many augmentics. Upon closer inspection, you realize that they are not merely implants. Their construction makes it clear that the deceased were not humans, but in fact, rare high-functioning servitors. As far as I know, House Gatprak has received such servitors from the Crimson Priesthood as gifts in the past. Although this is my first time seeing one myself. What is this mess? You see, your lordship. Those people want to attack. Second Lieutenant of the Palace Guard, Elam Waite, reporting. Shortly before you arrived, we averted an assassination attempt on the Rogue Trader. The palace soldiers detected intruders and engaged them in combat. Where's the court counselor, Bentia Wirison? I think she's with the rest of House Wirison. Detained in the throne room, that is. Governor Drivestem has gathered all the Dargonus nobility there to pronounce a guilty verdict against House Wirison. Why is the governor not here to greet the Rogue Trader? I do not know, your lordship. Perhaps he is... You could probably find him in the throne room, where the governor intends to put House Wirison on trial. I see. I shall take my leave then. Alright, let's save here, and let's begin our investigation, as it were. We're gonna start with investigating the bodies, I suppose, and see what we find from there. The bodies bear multiple wounds. It is evident that they died recently.
Mistakes. I make profitable learning experiences.
Did I succeed that? I did. Alright. There's a crumpled up letter in the inside pocket of the assailant's blood-soaked jacket. The letter is soaked with blood, only a portion of the text is readable through the crimson blotches. Careful and discreet. Keep away from the lords and ladies. Must look like a noble to the servants and wardens. Not engage in conversation with anyone. The task is to avoid exposing yourself ahead of time. And let the Warriors get away while the wardens are busy guarding the road trail. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I guess we'll see. Glinting into light, the coin falls into clean water and sinks to the bottom.
Let us not dawdle.
Okay. Shady aristocrats. Yeah, pretty simple
Always
stuff.
Keep your eye on the prize.
I don't think there's really anything too crazy here. There's Janus messengers, noblemen. Pretty simple stuff. Alright. Well, there's no reason to stay out here, I guess. I guess we're going inside to do some investigation here. See what we actually find.
I always keep my options open.
Alright, let's do some proper investigation and see what we find. There is sure to be quite a bit of it. Let's save here. We'll go from there.
Keep your wits about you.
Hello. The man swaying slightly is mumbling a prayer to the Emperor.
I always have a backup plan.
Okay. Noblemen, aristocrats, warden. Anything in our office that I should be aware of? I don't think there would be, but you never know. Let's just do a once-over. I mean, we got Abelard with us, might as well.
Keep your eye on the prize.
Need to observe out into the balcony, because yeah. Pretty much done that. We don't need to go in here, but I'll check it all the same, see if we've come across anything new. I don't think we will, though. Yeah, nothing new. Just random shenanigans. Alright. Let's get going. I guess we're going to the main hall to do some investigation. Let me through. An appointment with Chancellor Clementia Worship. My apologies, my lord. Cannot go any further. Governor Drivestem's orders. This is ridiculous. I shall complain. Move over. His lordship is the rogue trader through. I humbly beg your pardon, your lordship. Your lordship, please, this way. Your lordship, it's an honor. Governor Urban Drivestram seems to materialize out of thin air. So suddenly does he emerge from the crowd. I regret that such unfortunate circumstances have occasioned the rogue trader's visit to the capital. Clementia tries to take a step forward to you, but the warden nearby stops her. Her face is veiled with fear and weariness. Your lordship, you're here. Please, you must hear me out. The rogue trader is undoubtedly here to listen to the testimony of each and every one of us, and to punish the traitors. The governor's words directed at Clementia are harsh. They are echoed by the scornful sneers and whispers of the assembled nobles. We have known each other for many decades now, and we have had our fair share of disagreements, but Or do you think my flesh and blood would trample upon the very definition of honor and loyalty? Ablard's voice is quivering with rage. The governor sweeps his gaze over to Abelard, then replies with a faint shadow of doubt in his voice. We have evidence implicating them, Abelard. I'm sure that his lordship will arrive to a fair ruling. One of the charges against House Wuristan: disruption of logistical lines, bribery of Adeptus Administratum officials, document forgery, and organization of heretical insurrections. On top of the evidently devastating economic impact this has had on your protectorate, these criminals' acts have impeded the delivery of the imperial tithe, which in turn has drawn the Administratum's attention. An esteemed member of the Adeptus Arbites is expected to arrive on Dargonus shortly. Before they do, we are obligated to identify and punish those responsible. Clementia, I wish to hear your account. Your Lordship, House Wuristan denies all charges laid against it. These last few months have indeed been trying for Dargonus, but we've done our best to remedy the situation. My family's every effort was focused on stabilizing the capital's logistics and economy. So much, though, that we failed to notice a web of intrigue unfolding behind our backs. What happened to our Dargonus in my absence, then? When we caught wind of the rumors of your disappearance, we patiently awaited news of your return. Then Dargonus was struck by a series of terrible events. The first was the sabotage of logistics that hampered shipments. Then mass unrest spread across the entire planet, and the minor noble houses began squabbling amongst themselves, trying to pin the blame on their rivals. We took great pains to calm them down and managed to quash the revolts, though not without some outside help, unfortunately. These events have also been overshadowed by the... I shouldn't just even say it out loud in front of you, Lordship. The rumors circulating among the higher houses. Some were calling for Theodore's true heir to be installed as the head of your house, Kundrad Vokvir. Not all of your subjects have forgotten his past efforts for the benefit of the trade protectorate. When the investigation was launched, the evidence led us to the Wurisans. Why are there dead bodies at the entrance to the palace? Your Lordship, I humbly beg your pardon. You see, right before your arrival, the palace guard discovered a plot to assassinate you. Fortunately, the malefactors were disposed of before they could cause you any harm. Drivestem, you aren't accusing one of Dargonus' leading houses of treason without airtight evidence, are you? Of course I have evidence, your lordship. The investigation has established that members of the Wuristan family, which is responsible for both Dargonus' fleet and its logistics, use their contacts and influence to forge a host of documents to undermine the planet's supply routes and economy, thus fomenting unrest among the inhabitants. Allow me to introduce my son, Cornelius. The governor points to a lanky young man standing beside him. He bows curtly but avoids meeting your gaze. Cornelius holds a prestigious position at the Administratum Palace. It is thanks to him that we managed to identify and trace the entire chain of forged documents. The investigation led us to perpetrators who admitted to acting on the orders of the members of House Wuristan. It was they who were intent on spreading the idea of restoring the titled road trader to the true heir. Noticing the close attention of the road trader, the young man averts his gaze, his long face sweating, and he presses his dry lips together tightly into a thin line. He seems to be afraid of something. Do you support the governor's accusations? The aristocrats in attendance exchange glances, the noble lords averting their gaze and the noble ladies hiding behind the fans. No one is willing to answer. Over his many years of service, Governor Drivestem earned Theodore's trust, and he holds his high office for a reason. On behalf of House Thorbach, I support his accusations. Your Lordship, Governor Drivestem has always been faithfully served to the rogue trader of the House von Valencius, and concerned himself with the future of your trade dynasty, and so House Gatprat thinks his charges against House Wuristan to be sound. He augments its high Cortonia's emotion, but her voice sounds slightly tremulous. I humbly ask you allow me to speak in deference to my family's honor. The evidence provided by the governor is utterly false. I cannot refute it, but I can say with confidence that no one in my family has ever tried to forge documents in the Adeptus Administratum, let alone undermine the economy of your capital. Your lordship, allow me to speak as well. I'm grateful for the privilege of serving under you. The evidence against House Worston is quite solid, but I doubt their cutability. Should you decide to personally resolve this case, then I humbly ask you to speak to me. Perhaps I could be of use to you. Sabotaging logistics, riots, conspiracy. The case appears to be flimsy. I wish to learn more before I make my final decision. As you wish, your lordship. The governor inclines his head in a stiff bow. Speak to me when you are ready to announce your verdict. Thank you for your willingness to help, Lord Captain. I'm certain that all the charges are false, and I would be grateful for your help in exposing them as such. I think you should speak to everyone present, the noble lords and ladies. Good. Alright, so, let's see. Alright, I think we should start with the Senechal. Or Abelard's family, as it
Rise
were.
to the top or get left in the dust.
Then we can work our way through. See if we can't find information beyond that point. I think it's a good start. Starting with the Drussians and then go from there. Maybe we can get a good idea as to where this whole mess started. We'll go from there. Alright.
I always keep my options open.
As you draw closer, the wardens step aside, bowing respectfully, allowing you to approach the Worston family. Clementria, tired and slightly disheveled, is the first to bow her head to you in deference. Several men and women behind her follow suit. Your lordship. The woman stammers as if lost for words. Accept my most humble apologies for failing to greet you properly. My thanks for agreeing to speak with me before making your final decision. The charges brought by the governor are severe, but I can only assure you this and swear on my own honor. We are not guilty of the crimes of that House Worston is being accused of. Clementia. A hint of sorrow creeps in Abelard's voice, betraying his stern facade. You are acting head of this family. You're supposed to take care of each and every family member. Now you're being accused of treason and collusion against a road trader. The entire family is facing death. How could you let this happen? Are you guilty? Be honest. I will not tolerate lies. Clementia, if you know that a member of your family is guilty of the crimes you are being accused of... Abelard, it is your family too, you know. The woman's words burn with defiance. Apologies. I should not lose my composure. No member of House Worston is involved in a conspiracy against his lordship. Honor and loyalty are not something we take lightly, and we know with whom we serve. The governor claims you forged documents in the Administratium. The fleet of the primary remnant of House Worston, it is our responsibility. Logistics and supply routes are another area of our responsibility. We have no direct influence in the inner workings of the Adeptus Administratum. The first large-scale deliveries were cancelled after the quantities of food were miscalculated by clerks in the Administratum. Then we were faced with incorrect weather data and a meager fuel budget. It was clear that the cause of all these problems was the calculation performed in the Administratium. In one way or another, but no matter how many times we tried or asked, we could never obtain any clarification on the matter. I found this letter on one of the bodies of the heretics who planned the attack. What can you tell me about it? While Clementia reads the letter, the Worsons behind her read it over her shoulder. Your lordship, let us be frank. It would be foolish of me to try and orchestrate something like this. Knowing how many wardens are patrolling your palace, I would not have let myself or anyone in my family get involved in such a scheme. The attackers were high-functioning servitors, one that looked closer to ordinary humans. Do you know anything about them? Servitors? Is that so? I have encountered servitors that were indistinguishable from normal augmented humans, but only once. They were accompanying several members of House Gatprak. If you are not guilty, who is? Who stands to gain from framing you? Anyone, really. The other houses consider us unworthy of our position, and many would jump at the chance to get rid of us and gain control over what was our domain. The planet's fleet and logistics, at the very least. Lady Theodora chose to grant noble status to House Worsen, but the other houses which have served the advance for millennia did not welcome the decision. It has led to some difficulties. I want to find out what is going on here and the real mastermind behind all this. Where should I start? I'm afraid I can't be of much help. Talk to representatives of the other houses. Eavesdrop on their retinue. Perhaps you'll hear something unusual. I see. Well, there is an easy way we can go for. We're going to start with Gatprak's house. Because that does matter, it seems. It seems their servitors were potentially the cause for this whole unrest. Supposedly. But we'll have to see. Alright, let's go talk with the Gatpraks here. The lords and ladies, studiously dressed in the colors of House Gatprak, are standing in a half-circle around Tartonia and her son Vincent. The bodies and faces are almost every member of this dynasty, covered in large, ornate augmentics. Tartonia Gatprak curtsies to you. The mechanical voice sounds distant and indifferent. Greetings, your lordship. May the Onasai grant you understanding. With a click, her visor oculars swiveled to the Senechal. Abelard, it must be difficult for you to be here under these circumstances, with your house standing accused of such a grave crime. My family, Lady Tartonia, is yet to be found guilty of anything. That verdict is for the road trader to reach. Your lordship. Vincent stammers awkwardly and briefly, looks to his family. I would like to talk to you about something in private. If you please, kindly hear me out. Do you think the accusations against the Warriston family are true? I would not take such a responsibility upon myself and rule out their guilt. Your lordship, I do think Governor Drivestem's accusations are worthy of consideration, however. In your opinion, which nobles might have reason to be party to such a conspiracy? Pardon my bluntness, your lordship, but I will answer truthfully. It could be anyone. Greed, fear, and ideals can drive even the most loyal subjects to do the unthinkable. I have examined the bodies of the assailants that were killed today. All of them were high-functioning servitors. Such servitors are only employed by the family's Costi Adeptus Mechanicus. Isn't that so? It is impossible to read Tartonia's emotions in her heavily augmented face, but her sudden turn towards her family betrays her confusion and surprise. Perplexed whispers bounce from one family member to another. Impossible. We came here by ourselves without any servitors. You know something about it. Your lordship, thank you for informing us of this. You're absolutely right. My house has indeed been endowed with high-functioning servitors. A blessing for those who reserve the Omnicide, but today, none of our house members were accompanied by them. Interesting. I found this note on the body of one of the attackers. What is your thoughts on it, then? Vittoria's mechanical fingers grip the paper. Officially, high-functioning servitors are employed by my house and the house alone. If such units were to attack the road trader, the suspicion would instantly fall upon the Gatpraks. I assume that is what the Warrisons intended to happen, but they did not expect that the servitors would have had this letter on them. That is assuming that you brought them in the first place, which is not the case, so somebody else did it. Vincent, you wish to discuss something with me? Yes, your lordship. Let us talk in private. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve on board your ship, and would like to repay you for such a largesse. Vincent looked back at his family before continuing. You see, I harbor special tender feelings toward Astaria Wirshin. I think I know something that can help her escape death, though revealing it may jeopardize my own family. Today I noticed one of my family members to be in an odd, uncharacteristic mood. Helen Gatprak is my paternal second cousin once removed. The Emperor saved his soul. Usually reserved and self-possessed, today he was frantic and anxious, fidgeting with a small piece of paper and seemingly looking for someone to no avail. When I last saw him, he was headed to the entrance hall, where the altars are. Perhaps you should talk to him. What made you decide to tell me about this? I could not bear to live knowing that I failed to disclose information that could have saved the innocents. You tell me this even though your family may face death if found guilty. Treason. Yes. Perhaps there's still a glimmer of hope left in me that Halen is not involved in any way. I'll be able to point you to the perpetrator behind all this. But the truth is that my actions right now come from my heart, not my head. Thank you, Vincent. Alright, I wish to speak with you, Vincent. What makes you think... What do you make of the charges against the Wilson family? Could they truly be guilty? I do not think I can doubt the validity of the accusations, but... I am also not sure that House Wilson has a reason to betray you, your lordship. I do not know of any instance where their loyalty to you and the Emperor was anything less than unwavering. I know you care for Asteria Wilson. Prepare to watch her die. There is something you ought to know, your lordship. Today I noticed one of my family members to be yeah, basically. Basically the same thing he answered for before. I shall take my leave. Alright, so let's go find their, individual who seems to be the guy over here. Galen Gatprak. We are going to save here, because there is a particular instance that we have to be careful of. And if we don't save right now, it's probably going to be a bit of a hiccup here. But, yeah, we're going to go down here, and we're going to go see Galen Gatprak. The finely dressed man of middle years is kneeling in front of the altar, his palms folded in prayer close to his face. The implant-free parts of his skin are sickly blue color. No man does not react to your presence. He does not lift his head. He does not blink. He does not even breathe. Only when you draw closer do you realize that he is dead. Abar looks at the man, his eyes grim. The colors of House Gatprak. I do not believe he decided to take his own life in such an extravagant way. As far as I know, there's a warden post here. I do not see any wardens. There's one to ask about what happened here, or with whom this man spoke of before he died. I would like to ask Urban where the palace guard suddenly disappeared to. Alright, so we need to make a save state before we go any further, because both the perception check and the Medicaid check is important here for discovering the true killer. So make sure you save here, because otherwise you are going to miss out on finding the actual killer, and you'll miss out on getting something. So it is absolutely necessary that you need to succeed these two checks here. It is the difference between actually succeeding and failing, so make sure you do it. Save here. We'll be a little closer here just to speed things up a little bit, but other than that, we should be fine. Alright. Alright, examine the body. There are no visible wounds on the body, but near the edge of the gold-trimmed collar, you notice a tiny puncture in his blue skin. Likely a wound caused by a thin needle. Okay, and the cause of death. Death came for him suddenly and ravaged his body with cramping spasms that prevented him from falling to the ground. Rare poisons have such side effects. The affected victim suffocates slowly, without being able to move or call for help. Let's look around. You are almost certain that the wardens are usually stationed nearby, but their post is empty. Where have they gone? This would be an excellent question to put to Governor Drivestone and his pockets. You discover a secret pocket in the lining of the dead man's luxurious jacket. You find a folded piece of paper inside, hiding behind a handkerchief embroidered with the initials HG. I see. That's actually very convenient for Drivestone, but I don't think he's foolish enough to do that either, is the thing. Make sure that the rogue trader is attacked by someone loyal. It appears as if it was all staged to let the Wurshan family escape. It's the last assignment. Soon your debt will be paid off in full.
I always have a backup plan.
Okay, interesting. Before we jump to conclusions, let's talk with the Drivestones. It's hard to... It's going to be very interesting, but we do need to figure this out. Governor Drivestem is surrounded by his retinue, who are all dressed in expensive gowns and finery. The matching color scheme of their outfits and the striking physical resemblance among them suggests that they all come from one family. Your lordship, thank you for giving this case your undivided attention. The governor bows and rests hastened to follow suit. I wish to hear your reasoning again. What makes you think the Wursans are behind the plot against me? As soon as the logistical and economic problems gave rise to initial rumors, we tried to find a person responsible for spreading calls for Vokvir's return. Investigation showed that some of the documents inside the Adeptus Administratum were forgeries. We can thank my son, Cornelius, for such astute observations. Your lordship. A slender young man bows to you awkwardly and nervously licks his dry lips. I assure you that my humble person is undeserving of your attention. Cornelius holds a prestigious position at the Administratum Palace, and it was he who discovered the errors leading to disrupted logistics. It's also thanks to him that we found the perpetrators of the forgeries, who admitted to acting on the orders of House Wurson. What do you make of this letter? I found it on one of the assailants. Governor Driveston peers closely to the bloodstained paper. It looked like another piece of evidence incriminating House Wurston. Perhaps they truly did intend to kill you, or at least cause a stir to help them escape custody during the confusion that followed. All of the assailants were high-functioning servitors. Such servitors are only employed by families close to the Adeptus Mechanicus. High-functioning servitors? Such servitors are indeed rare, and the Gadprax do have them in their service, but this could have been done intentionally with the eye to confuse you. Anyone with a desire and sufficient funds can hire them. Tell me more about your son, Drivestem. Thank you for your interest, your lordship, but I am not worthy of it. The governor's son bows and stands as he nervously stares down at the floor. Son, show due respect. Forgive him, your lordship. This is the first time he's had the honor of attracting any attention of the rogue trader. Tell me more about your job, Cornelius. What do you do? I manage the documents and record records related to the economy of Dargonus. Probably know how scrupulous the workers of the Adeptus Administratum are. I'm afraid that a more detailed explanation of my duties would mirror the administrative process of the Administratum. Too long and overly detailed. How do you manage to find the documents in the bureaucratic hell that is the Administratum? When compiling records on the last cycle supply chain, I noticed inaccuracies and discrepancies in figures. With the help of the other clerks, I managed to find several other documents. Comprehensive data analysis shown that discrepancies were caused by intentional tampering with the data, thus leading to some logistical problems that were practically unsolvable. Father and I have managed to single out the Administratum clerks responsible for tampering with data. Following a heated interrogation, they confessed that they were following the orders of someone from House Wurston. Everything was supposed to look as though they were the ones suffering losses from logistical and economic problems. But does House Wurston have access to the Adeptus Administratum? There's no conceivable way that they could do all of this in a place where they do not hold any power. Before replying, the governor's son nervously adjusts his expensive frock coat. I think the right amount of money can open any door. Cornelius, what is the true reason for your nervousness? The young man's pupils suddenly dilate. He stands at attention and replies in one breath. This is the first time I've spoken face to face with the rogue trader. I'm afraid of saying something wrong or forgetting something important. The governor closely watches his son. His tone changes now, sounding strict and curt. Do you wish to tell the Lord Captain anything else? You are speaking to the rogue trader, and my patience is running out. You see a flash of terror in Cornelius' eyes as he stares at your hand on your weapon. He speaks quietly and confusedly, without raising his head. Forgive me, your lordship. I can't do it anymore. This lie has gone too far. No longer hide it, control it. The truth is that all the logistical problems were caused by a single error in the numbers. My mistake. What? Urban looks genuinely shocked and enraged. When I discovered my mistake, it was almost impossible to restore supply lines. Then I was approached by someone that said they were a friend. They did not give me their name, and I never saw their face. They promised to fix the problem. All I had to do was pretend that the Drussians were responsible for the mistake. As for the rest of the evidence, they promised to arrange it all, and... Cornelius is suffocating with fear, unable to speak. Urban curls his hands into a fist, knuckle turning white. What have you done? How could you? Your lordship. He suddenly turns as if he's trying to shield his son. This is my fault. I trust my son and have failed you in doing so. I beg you, have mercy. You called my family's honor into question, Urban. Nevertheless, I harbor no desire to kick a man while he's down. Lord Captain, the confession you have obtained means that the House Worsen can now be cleared of all charges. We still do not know who's behind all the forgeries, the riots, the plots, and the assassination attempts. Someone is committing their foul deeds and sowing chaos right under your subjects' noses. To leave that stone unturned would be dangerous. What is this friend that approached you, Cornelius? How did the two of you communicate? By letter. I received a letter out of the blue one day. It was unsigned, but the person writing it already knew about my horrendous calculations. They offered to help me cover up my misdeed, and in return I would name the Drussians as the one who would sabotage the supply lines. All I had to do was gather together some documents and report that they were listed in one of the letters. That and keep my mouth shut. Urban, your son has found the courage to admit his mistake. Find some compassion for him in my heart. Thank you, your lordship. The governor bows low and gives his son a look full of bitterness and frustration. And as for your position, I think you'll be resigned to a role requiring less responsibility. I shall return to you later. We have still got some mysteries to head into, but first we should probably talk with Tortonia and Gatfrak and figure out the situation. I've discovered a dead body. A member of your house, right here in my palace. He died kneeling in prayer. Tortonia covers his open mouth with her hand in surprise, and turning to her family, looks for someone among them. It can't be. Halen, was it? Tell me more about him, Tortonia. Halen is one of the lower-ranking members of House Gatfrak. Despite his advanced age, he never held high office, but he was forever striving to get a better position, even beyond his abilities. Many members of the house struggled to cope with the misfortune that befell Kiabagama, our family. Some members could not reconcile themselves to our new position. Halen was one of them. What could have happened to him? Bertonia, the time to keep silent is long gone. The future of the Von Valentius trade dynasty and your house are both at stake now. We lost Kiavagama, a truly devastating blow to every member of House Gatfrak. Lost all hope for the future, and my kin lost their sense of purpose. We needed time to recover and chart a new course for ourselves. We are still more than capable of doing that, but I will not deny it. The other houses have offered us their assistance, for their own self-service ends. Perhaps Halen decided to take them up on one of their offers behind my back. Lord Captain, the Gapraks, all or perhaps only some of them, are definitely involved. I suspect that they're not behind the plot against you. Halen Gaprak could be nothing more than a puppet in the hands of a deaf puppet master. Must expose whoever that is to prevent the pestilence of heresy from spreading any further. What do you suggest we do? Interrogate the heads of the Drivestem and Starback houses. One of them is pulling the strings here. Once we uncover new evidence, announce that the guilty party will be publicly executed. Before you pronounce the verdict, I suggest focusing on each house in your independent speech. I shall observe them. I've known these people far longer than you have. I know all of their gestures, habits, and behavioral quirks. I'm sure that I will be able to determine which of them was responsible for the riots based on their behavior. I see. I feel like there's also more to this than meets the eye, so... How may I serve you, Lordship? Are you ready to pronounce the verdict yet? Did you see Macarius Sarback today before I arrived? Macarius? I did not see him myself, but perhaps... Have you seen any of them today? Nobles talk quietly amongst themselves, and then the middle-aged woman with a tall, extravagant hairstyle replies to you. I think my sister and I saw him sitting on the bench some distance away from the palace's entrance. I think he was accompanied by a gentleman, but forgive us, your lordship. We could not make out his face. Lead me to that place. Of course, consider it done. We're gonna save here, because it seems like we're slowly going to more and more of the, eventual discoveries. We're finding details. It's gonna take time no matter what we do, but yeah.
What do we have here?
I saw Lord Sarback conversing with
Always
someone
keep
here,
your
your
eye on the
lordship.
price.
I recognize this bouquet. House Sarback usually serves this wine. Okay, interesting. One more thing. How might I serve you? I found a dead body in my palace. A member of House Gatprak was slain in front of an altar. Do you know anything about it? A member of House Gatprak was killed in the palace. And no one noticed, but how? There are wardens posted at every altar. There was no one near the deceased. The wardens have left their post. You ordered them to do so. Emperor forbid, your lordship. The governor helplessly throws his hands up in the air as if to signify his powerlessness. Your negligence is stunning, Urbent. An assassination attempt followed by a mysterious death, and yet here you are. Oblivious to everything. No traitor can justly accuse you of allowing a noble to be killed in his palace, failing to even notice it. Maybe so, but it is for the rogue traitor to accuse me of negligence, not you. Your lordship, accept my deepest apologies for my imprudence. Nothing matters more to me than my honor. I shall send us servants to deal with all this immediately. Let's see.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
I guess that just leaves the Sarbaks, which seem potentially like the responsible party. It's very close, because it really seems like the line is leading to them. Although, I don't think it's anybody in the family, as it is probably one person. We'll have to see. Before bowing, Sarbak scrutinizes you with a bitter judgmental look. Your lordship. Hector Sarbak, looking at like a younger copy of his father, stands at a slight distance closer to his mother. An expensive yet understated dress serves to highlight the dazzling beauty of Macorius' wife, Regina Sarbak. Okay. The member of House Sarbak, led by Macorius, all bear a striking resemblance to one another, and their slender builds have stern looks. They bow at you almost in unison. Do you really believe the Worstons are guilty? Certainly. Sarbak replies without hesitation. Governor Drivestem possesses proof of their guilt. They have no means of which to refute it. Even if I were to entertain the idea of the Worstons are being framed, how much longer would their house have lasted anyways? It's so ill-prepared for treachery. My advice to the House Worstons would not to be appeal to rogue trader for help, but instead to simply stop, accept their fate, not make matters worse for themselves. I cannot remember the Vorg von Valencia seeking your advice on what House Worsen should do in the situation. Pay attention, Mercurius. Focus on the rogue trader's questions. Who, apart from the Worsians, could have a motive to conspire against me? House Drivestem wishing to expand their class. House Gadprak, who lost their influence after Kiavagama's incident. House Sorbak, whose patriarch is too direct in his communication with the rogue trader. Anyone who could have a reason to conspire against you, and equally, they could have none. It is not a question of motive, but of loyalty. Your subjects have sworn an oath of loyalty to you. But whose sincerity do you doubt? The assistants sent to the palace were rare, high-functioning servitors. Do you think the Gadpraks could be behind this attack? I have always thought Cortonia too weak to participate in such risky ventures, but it seems I was wrong about her. I discovered a dead body in my palace. A man of House Gadprak was killed while praying to the Emperor. He had this note on him. Do you know anything about it? Mercurius looked at the note without taking it from your hands and replies without hesitation. No, I know nothing of it. Okay. Mercurius Sawbrak doesn't want to talk with us, so I guess we will, try and talk with the Madame, if you will. Alright, it doesn't seem like they have much to add on the situation, but the Sarvaks seem to be very inclined to, the conversation. Okay, it doesn't appear that they have anything to say.
I always have a backup plan.
Alright. We're almost done with the investigation, though. I think I'm satisfied with the majority. We just need to
Keep your wits
talk with
about you.
Kamlentia and see if there's anything else. I discovered the body of Halem Gathprak in this palace. He had a note on it. Do you know anything about it? Younger members of the Worston family crowd around to examine the note in Kamlentia's hands. All present are beset with worry and bewilderment. I am not sure if this is relevant, but perhaps you should know. Since the fall of Kiamagama, House Gathprak has been faring poorly, to say the least. They've been looking for ways to enhance their influence and improve their laws, including asking for help from other noble houses. They have not approached us, of course. Shameful to seek help from those you consider your inferiors, you understand. Perhaps the Drivestems or the Sarvaks can tell you more about this matter. I see.
Always keep your
I
eye
am
on
fairly
the
confident
prize.
in the, well, it's either the Drivestems or the... Yeah, it's either the Sarvaks or the Drivestems. So, I guess let's go talk with them. Atmar did say he is going to help us out here. So let's go see what the verdict is. Alright. The many faces are watching you, each and every one awaiting the rogue trader's verdict with bated breath. The charges brought by the Governor Drivescam were fabricated. House Worsen has nothing to do with the orchestration of the riots or the plots targeting the rogue trader. However, the real perpetrator is here in this very room. If Senechal nods to you, if it's urging you to continue, then shifts his piercing gaze to the crowd before you. Urban Drivestem. You have exhibited inexcusable negligence by failing to question the possible involvement of any other family besides the Worshians. We have discovered that the attempt on my life was orchestrated by a member of House Gathprak. The governor closes his eyes, fear and shame getting the better of him. Some faces in the crowd look confused and surprised, but you see more wearing expressions of self-satisfied contempt. Abard looks from the governor and you and suddenly shakes his head, as if to say, no. Not Drivestem pulling your strings here. Urban Drivestem, you have accused House Worston of violations that were in truth the result of a grave error committed by your son. The governor closes his eyes, fear and shame getting the better of him. Some of the faces in the crowd look confused and surprised, but you see more wearing expressions of self-satisfied contempt. Bertonia Gathprak, a member of your family orchestrated an assassination attempt against me, here in my own palace. And though he's already been found dead, his acts is reason enough to forever brand your house as traitors. Mocking whispering creeps through the crowd. Bertonia is trembling faintly. She does not raise her head, perhaps out of fear of meeting her fate face to face, rather. The Senechal haze gaze softens. An elusive gesture visible only to you conveys a message. Titonia Garpa is guilty only of her own poor judgments. Makorius Sarbak, your overly contempt towards me is reason enough to implicate you of the conspiracy. The crowd remains silent, with only their tense, anxious gazes darting back and forth between you and Makorius. Sarbak's brows rise higher, and you notice his jaw working nervously. Abelard narrows his eyes and scrutinizes Makorius Sarbak and his retinue, standing beside him. For a second, his sharp eyes seem to have caught sight of something, only to lose track of it for a next moment. The disappointed side tells you, it could be Sora, but he's really behind all this. I know that House Sarbak offered their help to the Gatprax, and the late Helen Gatprax seems to have accepted their offer. I suspect that you are also responsible for his death as well. Sarbak furrows his brows and slightly cocks his head as he averts his gaze for the first time, as if trying to remember or make sense of something. You notice some restless movements behind him. Abelard narrows his eyes and scrutinizes Makorius Sarbak and his retinue standing behind him. His sharp eyes light up when he catches sight of something important and hidden in the crowd. The Seneschal looks at you and nods to say, the puppeteer has given himself away. Pronounced a verdict. In the conspiracy against a rogue trader, I find... I think it's the first option that we have to go with, but I feel like there's more to it, so I might have to load here. Worst case. Give me a second just to check, because this does matter. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Let's see. We need to go here. Let's see. Okay, pronounce a verdict. Expose the mastermind. Uh... Alright, I just need to check just to make sure. Alright, I think I can continue on, and we should be able to go with Senechal's option. House Sarbak is guilty. Senechal, you may take it from here. Abelard steps forward and stares intently at House Sarbak's patriarch. Makarius, I must admit I have always admired your bluntness, but just as once had to say goodbye to a promotion because of my dislike for intrigue, you and your family might soon say goodbye to your heads. Tell me now in your blunt fashion, are you loyal to House von Valentius? Sarbak narrows his eyes, grimacing. I am loyal, Merchant. Abelard studies Sarbax and suddenly nods. You're not lying, but someone else is. Someone who is poised to destroy both you and your family for her own gain. Makorius does not have time to respond. Regina, who is standing beside him, raises her arms as to slap the Aeldari Seneschal. Abelard deftly catches her wrist, stopping her hand right in front of his face. Her dainty hand is adorned with a massive augmentic ring, topped with a thin spike dripping with venom. Sarbak shifts his confused gaze from his wife to Abelard, then back again. His stiff arrogance has vanished from his posture. Regina, you... Mother. Upon realizing what has happened, Hector recoils from his mother. Corius, your bluntness makes you an open book. When I talked about helping the Gathrax, you had no idea what I was referring to. Your wife, on the other hand, her eyes started shifting like you would not believe. Regina Sorbak, you alone betrayed the rogue trader, jeopardizing the prosperity of the Von Valencia's trade dynasty. And you alone are responsible for your unmasking. Regina, why would you do this? Like in the spike of her ring, Regina's words are dripping with poison and rage. Because Dargonus is serving an impostor. The true heir of the Protectorate bears a different name. When Kundrad appeared on Dargonus, he paid me a visit, and opened my eyes to the truth of the situation. Theodore was killed by the one whom she had so unwarily taken under her wing. Macorius is too narrow-minded to even consider opposing the rogue trader. And an illegitimate one. I had to wait for the right moment. The disappearance of the Vorg captain could not have come at a better time. It was quite simple to trigger the chain of events on Dargonus so that the people remembered Master Vokvir's past service. It seemed that many of your subjects do not actually consider you a worthy successor. And why the worsens? Because when stripped of the Senechal's protection, this house is the weakest one of all of Dargonus. They are also particularly disliked by the governor's family. It would have been easy to bury the Worsens under accusations of heresy. And who aided you? There's no way you managed this on your own. Oh, of course I didn't. I have too many helpers to list them all, but rest assured there are plenty of them. So there are plenty of people who follow Master Vokvir. My death will not change anything. The true rogue trader will come and take his rightful place when the time is right. Why did you kill Halen Gathrak? Halen was a good agent, but he was also a coward. He came to me just before our formidable rogue trader arrived. He was ready to confess everything. I suggested that he plead for the Emperor's forgiveness first, and he did grant him mercy, did he not? Abelard, the sentence is yet to be carried out. Finish this. Does the rogue trader condemn only the rotten apple or the entire barrel? I will not exterminate the entire noble line that is loyal to me just because of one traitor. In that case, Regina Thorbach shall be subjected to intense interrogation, followed by execution. For it, we also get a traitor ring. A ring that, when fired, fires a single liquefier shot. It can only be used once per combat, but it deals 10 toxic damage and applies melting every turn. And it seems to be perpetual, so that's a nice little trinket that you can use if you ever want to reduce the armor of somebody, like, immensely. So that's an option available to you. But alas, options, options, options. Regardless. Let's see what else we come across. By order of the rogue trader, Regina Sorbach is sentenced to death for heresy and crimes against the Von Valencia's trade dynasty. Ugh, grim. But expected. Unfortunately, sometimes that's just what is needed. You need to do that much to get the, situation across that you're not messing around. Alas, we'll be fine. When the nobles disperse, sated by the bloody performance, Abelard approaches you, his steps firm. Lord Captain, you have my thanks. The rogue trader should not waste time on the matters of his servants and trustees. Resolved, but in this case, your intervention was necessary. Not just for the sake of my family, but for your trade dynasty as well. Regina Sorbach, evidently Kunrad's accomplices continue to plot against you and your protectorate. I fear that we have not heard the last of such scoundrels. Yep. Thanks to you, Lord Captain, House Worsen is saved. Although it came close to being wiped out as a result of scheming without and impudence within. Sometimes I think about how much I could teach them, ensure that they survive in the future without me. What are you going to do now? I need time to reflect on what happened and the role I played in it. I think I'll be ready to resume this conversation later. We are back aboard the ship. I see. Cool. With that is Blood Ties done. I think we are basically good to go. We can leave this planet, but before we do, your lordship. Yeah. Okay. No problem seem to be linking, so we should be good. Let's get out of here and let's go to our ship. I wish there was a quick way to actually get to your ship, but sadly it doesn't seem like there is. Yeah, so sadly you just have to walk there. I really do wish there was like a quick travel. That would have been very convenient to add to this game. Would have saved us some time just wandering around rather than just running to and from. Like, it shouldn't be too hard to just click into a certain area and just enter the area like that. But alas, I'm not here to worry about those sorts of inconsistencies. I'm here to worry about just dealing with the situation at hand. But yeah, this was more of a diplomacy-esque mission, but other than that, we're basically good. We'll talk with Blood Ties here, and then we'll go from there. Let's go back to the ship, and we will talk with, yeah, Abelard. Okay. We'll save here to start with, and then we'll talk with Abelard here. See what he is, going on about.
Lord Captain, allow me to express my gratitude once again for your assistance. If it weren't for your intervention, my entire family could have been executed on false charges. I could have lost them all. I never imagined the Viserians would be so vulnerable while I serve as Senechal to the Lord Captain himself, far from home. To tell you the truth, Lord Captain, this whole situation has got me thinking. As patriarch of the Viserian family, I have a responsibility to my bloodline. Yes, it is my duty to serve as Seneschal to the rogue trader, and I have no intention of relinquishing that role if you find my service as satisfactory as did Lady Theodora. However, if I could be more involved in my family's affairs and still serve the von Valancius dynasty.
I understand your desire. Traditions and old ways must change. I'll allow you to return to Dargonus after the immediate crisis on the Expanse is past.
Thank you, Lord Captain. Under my watch, the Trade Protectorate will remain safe and prosper in service to you.
Abelard stands ramrod straight and makes the sign of a killer.
Well then, Lord Captain, it is time I return to my duties. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Nope.
Lord Captain.
That is basically it. Cool. Alright, so we did quite a bit there. We're slowly getting experience. We're not getting it as fast as we normally would, but that's perfectly fine. We'll be fine. I'm still questioning whether my build is going to be actually fundamentally powerful, but we'll have to see how things pan out in the end. Because it's still a question of whether it's going to work or not, because we've only got like a durability of like 11. But alas, we'll be fine. Alright, let's see. What is on the agenda next? Okay. Talk to Yrilet aboard the void ship. Let's talk with Yrilet then. I think that's going to be the start here. Back to the bridge, and then we'll go from there. I seem to have neglected that fact, so we'll do it now, so that way we can get it over with. Maybe there's more of a quest, we'll have to see. Regardless, Yrilet's gonna have to deal with it, so yee. Alright. Now, where is Yrilet? Here she is. There we go. How is Vincent doing, actually? Okay, he's not responding to any clicks, so whatever. Alright, Yrilet, what's up?
The Dark City released us from its thorny embrace. The wounds of the body will heal. But what about the wounds of the soul? Kundrad fell, and its demise shattered the fragile lives of countless children of Osirian. Scattered across this part of the galaxy, hounded by the monkey, pursued by the Dark Cousins, imprisoned by the servants of She Who Thirsts.
Yrilet's hand brushes against the crimson stone embedded in her chest plate.
Hatred is strangling me like a snake, and fear is coursing through my body like a burning poison. For the path I chose is leading me down the roads of failure. I can neither hold back my grief, nor rein in my anger. And yet, I am powerless to stray from my path. Pay no heed to my fleeting wrath, Aeldari. When the will slips away, the soul trembles with rampant emotions. But I will resign my heart to meekness, for there is no other way a marked outcast can help their fellow Aeldari wandering in the dark.
Yrilet stifles a brief sob and casts a grief-stricken glance at you, and then her face turns implacable once again. Many terrible things did happen in Camorra. Are you alright?
I found myself in the Dark City after following the twisted roads of truth and lies. And although the truth blossomed like an ugly bud and scratched my soul with its thorns, I did find the answers to my questions. Those who come back from the dark of the webway will never be the same. But it is we who change while the surrounding world remains imminent. This thought gives me strength.
Kundrad suffered an inevitable fate. Sorry for your world's loss.
I have no need for your sympathy, Aeldari. Besides, neither Monkey nor my dark kin found the decaying remnants of Kundrad. Perhaps all is not lost. Perhaps we may yet bring back what has been taken.
Yrilet's gaze dimly wanders the bridge, but the corners of her lips twitch traitorously upward, and her features soften. What will happen to see her now?
Clendil chose to stay on the Lilithon together with Muaran and the rest of our kinsmen. Perhaps it is for the best. The stars in this part of the galaxy are hostile to the children of Osirian.
So where does the path of the outcast lead you now, then?
On the trail of a monkey called Calligos Winterscale. Even a worm may harm a wounded tiger by bringing infection into an open wound. And the wounds of my people have been bleeding ever since Krudrak's demise. The spirits of my kin need a poultice, a hope, not the executioner's sword already poised to fall.
I see.
You may try.
Alright, well, I'm not going to pressure her about the questions there. We'll wait for Act 5 before we start pushing those questions, but I guess before we do go anywhere, I'm going to talk with Idira, see if she can pull anything for the war. Give me an
All right.
augury.
The stone visage of the Emperor is fearsome, but it does not see the flames at his feet. The brow of the one who calls herself his retribution is crowned by an orbital halo of corpses. But they do not all burn the same. Cold calculation can break even righteous anger. There is a canister of promethium at your feet, and where to pour it is your decision alone. In the labyrinth of a strange world, vengeance is served in procession. An eye for an eye. The spilt blood of those who see leads to revenge against those who were blinded. And drawn by the scent, a sickened beast comes running, baring its teeth. Its taming is a sham and leads to a crossroads. Wash out the poisoned blood, revel in it, or soak the earth in scarlet. The clockwork heart of a forbidden relic beats out of rhythm, grating more with every throb. He who started on your path with you will make way for daybreak. In the foundry depths, a devastating blade is forged, one that you cannot hold. To unsheath it is to call down doom and destruction. I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing.
Alright. Cool.
Of course.
As long as we got the information, that's all I care about. I'll leave Nomos to his own devices, but it seems like everything is going well. Let's see if there's anything else. Nope, there's nothing here. Alright, let's get going. Alright, to the Corrode's Expanse. Alright, so, let's see. So we need to go to Full Baton 4, and then we need to deal with, of course, Footfall. I think I'm going to go to Footfall next, and we can deal with, yeah, we can also deal with the Lord Inquisitor and Lord Captain as well, so why not? Might as well do both, so we can see what goes down here. Alright. Seems to be a plan on Nala Septum as well. So we got a few things here to explore, but for now, we're going to go to Footfall here. That's the plan. Okay. There is going to be a few new planets that we have yet to explore, so we will have to explore around, see what we find. For now, though, let's go to Footfall and see what's going on. As I'm clearly not afraid of whatever is going to come our way, might as well just go ham. Lord Captain, we've received a Vox message from Footfall. The Inquisition has declared martial law on the station due to threats of Malleus Extremis. Docking will require special permission, even most of the asteroids have been cordoned off. The station's custodian, Her Ladyship Incendia Corda, sends her greetings and invites your lordship to disembark at the docks with a small retinue. Her forces will meet you there to escort to another chamber for a private audience. The box crackles with static and Jay's honeyed voice fills the air. Take this, the salve for my heart. Forgive the infusion, but I have important business with the rogue trader. Oh, Shireen, I simply wish to remind you about my numbskull crew who got themselves captured by some rival Ashmonks. Vladimir is too occupied for schemes, and besides, Incendia Corda has already put him in his place, which leaves only Falco. May Azzi tear his soul to pieces. Footfall is straight ahead, and I would rather not waste the precious sand still left in the hourglass of their lives. He threw a wrench into the works, making my trade network fall like a badly assembled chrono. No income, no profits, only damages. All because my right hand is chained up on one of Footfall's asteroids. How about we pay Falco a courtesy visit? I'm sure your imposing visage will loosen his tongue, and maybe, just maybe, untie the hands of my crew. Let's go see what happened to your crew. Shireen, have I ever mentioned that you are the most fragrant rosebush in the entire blossoming garden of the Coronis Expanse? If that is all you have to say, the Voxmaster unceremoniously boots Jay from the channel. Apologies, Lord Captain. What will be your instructions? Well, what other options for landing on Footfall do we have? We have none, your Lord Captain. The augurs are reporting that all docking gates are not watched by the enforcers are locked and rigged with explosives. Very well. Let's take a look at Footfall's new hospitality. As you wish, Lord Captain. Alright, we're gonna remove everybody except for Jay, because she's gonna be, you know, involved in this next bit, but other than that, not using it for combat. That is the intended goal. As long as she stays out of combat, that's all I care about, so cool. Alright. And we just gotta wait for it to load, and then we should be good. Okay. Well, it shouldn't be too long, I hope. Shouldn't be too long at all. Here we go. Let's save here. And begin our journey. Let's see what we run into.
Is there money to be made?
Hello, Zeta. Who are you? Identification request accepted. Acceptable response found. Hear and heed. This unit identifier is Trade Terminal Zeta 42. 33 MU. Designated purpose, proceeding trading information requests and offers made to the Adeptus Mechanicus. Explorator Continuity Fleet. State your request. Where's Opticon 22? Information request accepted. Acceptable response found. Hear and heed. Unit Lagos Opticon 22 was instructed to leave the location of Footfall and head for the strategic location of Euphrates 2 in order to provide support to the Explorator Continuity Fleet. After standard rights were performed on the trade terminal Zeta 4233 MU, it was deemed an adequate functional replacement and received the blessing to process requests on the location of Footfall. State your request. Glory to Omnissiah. I'm gonna just quickly go through the options. There's no need to speed through here. Well, no need to do anything. Let's see what your trades have to offer. Okay, so we are currently not within a high enough economy value to get all the everything that we want, but we're slowly getting there. Of course, there is a few things that we could certainly use, but alas. I think the Astartes Bolter, or the Annihilating Astartes Bolter might be worth our time, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Astartes Bolter. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'd prefer something with a higher, bullet charge without reducing damage so much. I really do want to replace my weapon for something like that, but alas. I think the Hymn of Vehemence is also an option available to us, but again, we need something that's got a, yeah, so let's see. The calibrating weapon here requires a strength here. I don't know. I'm actually going to check real quick to see what we need here. Must not have the following features. Drakari and Aeldari equipment. Okay. So it doesn't specify what you need for heavy weapons to be viable, does it? Then you got things like this, which is... Oh, full attacks are now 1 AP. Oh god. That's fun. Right, that is a thing, isn't it? That's 12 bullets versus 8. Hold on. So 36 and 72 versus 48 and 72. Oh wait, so the heavy bolter and the calibrated heavy stubber are different to a degree. This one fires more, it has more recoil, but otherwise it's basically the same. So if we were to utilize this reduces our recoil by half. If we had the boots on, this would reduce it by an additional 15. So basically, we'd get less accuracy with this, but we'd get more hits off. And overall, that's pretty nice. And our damage is going to scale the more rate of fire we have. You know what? I'm really... God, I really am tempted to get that, but I really want to choose something else better. That's better, really. We'll find something else. We'll find something else. It's just a matter of finding something that's way higher in attacks and something else. Alas, we'll find something eventually. It's just a matter of time. Immune to burning. Also, the wearer ends their turn. Yep, there we go. More loot to add to the stockpile that we've got.
I always keep my
pretty
options
cool.
open.
Oh, hello. Well, Shireen, what do we have here? A cowardly ashmag who wants to get his paws on my certificate without even working up a sweat. Considering the circumstances currently affecting Footfall, the only fitting face this filth could be hiding in is the sewers. Jay's nose wrinkles at the very thought. A nasty spot with a powerful whiff about it. That is true. But I swear to you, Shireen, you won't come up with a better trap for Falco. I know these tunnels like the back of my hand. And the most delicate parts of all this is that Ashmag chooses to go in there. You'll wish he hadn't. Of course, that is only if the Azzy doesn't mess things up for us, and everything goes to plan. And if it doesn't... my gang are dead, Shuri. One wrong move, one wrong word. Oh, damn that Ashmag. Why is everything so difficult? Perhaps I should just give him the Mintracum Tabula Official. Falco's not a complete idiot. He won't risk such a valuable payoff. He'll hold up his end of the deal and give me Torah and the others. Explain your plan in more details. The gist is that we need to go down to the sewer tunnels of Footfall, connect a tank of sleeping gas to the old ventilation system, and direct the airflow to Falco's hideout. And of course, pray the Exalted One that the Ashmag Jackals don't spot us. It is true, Serene. We're going to be a little trickier than it seems. Falco is desperate, so he's bound to have his slugs patrolling the tunnels. If we go crashing around down there, he'll know something is afoot. Falco feels jumpy. Heads roll. We're gonna get a tank of sleeping gas. What do you take me for? I've acquired it already. Don't worry, I have everything. And we get into the tunnels. Most of the passages have been sealed off by Corda's hounds, but there is one they definitely haven't got to. Time to pay a visit to Octi and the Adeptus Mentis, Serene. Come, it's time to enter the sewers. To Mentis we go, Serene. Or do you have other pressing business to handle on the way there? We should probably handle the business of dealing with a certain somebody who has control over this station right now. We'll have to see. But, not looking pretty from the looks of it. Yeah. As you can see, very grim scenes, to say the least.
Keep your eye on
Not
the
exactly
prize.
the prettiest situation to be in, but, yeah. This is just the nature of, Warhammer 40k. Sometimes you're gonna see, things like that, unfortunately. Moises' gaze is alight with awe. He breathes in the smell of burnt flesh and promethium and speaks to you. Behold, noble Vorg, as Footfall transforms before your very eyes. In the wake of your toils, this den of depravity will once again become a testament of the Emperor's greatness, as was its original design. To bring you delight. Your expedition perished. He studies the diary for a while in silence, then speaks grimly. Captain Virkul was a kind but fallible man. So was my brother in service, Gathric. There were the 4,822 pilgrims who boarded the wasteland Wayfarer many years ago. It grieves me that their kindness failed the test that the void presented with them. Let their deaths serve as a reminder to us. Corruption has many faces and could stain even the most purest souls. Thank you for the news, Lord Captain. Colony A3649 Minoris has hereby officially declared fallen and lost. Alright. I can't say I'm proud of this whole situation. Disgusts me. And I think for some it might disgust you guys as well, but yeah. Clearly not happy with this outcome, but you know what? There might be a way to salvage this to some degree. Avner. Heresy. Yeah, it's just pure dogmatic shenanigans here. If you're not a fan of dogmatic, well, yeah, you're gonna have a rough time here, but that's just how it goes.
Is there money to be made?
We'll grab everything that we can, though, all the same, and just make use of it. But of course, we're gonna need a save here in particular, because I do believe we're coming up to something pretty important here. So, this is sure to be interesting. Tech use here.
One and it's done.
That is not what I hoped for. Oops. How did Jay get that? Hold on. Okay, so she has an absurd dodge, and her tech use is surprisingly higher than mine. Okay, whatever, I guess. That was unexpected, but whatever. It's fine. Let's see what's going on here. Mercy, our families are starving. We've only taken a couple of Nutribars. Lies. I see clearly with my naked eye the corruption that has engulfed your nature. Only the cleansing fire can absolve you now. Guilty. Yes. Yeah, not exactly the most pleasant situation here. Zindia Corda is absorbed in reading a long strip of parchment. Her left hand is holding a silver spoon, with which she carefully scooping up brain matter from the open skull in the man ordered next to her. Vorg von Valencius, been informed of your arrival. Exhaustion has crisscrossed Incendia's features with lines. Her cheek is twisted in a continuous nervous tic, and her eyes are ablaze with indomitable resolve. Brilliant aura of power and righteous fury surrounds her like a mantle. She gracefully brings a gold-plated inhaler to her lips, takes a deep breath, and the fire in her gaze flares like a plasma thruster. One look of Incendia's full-dress uniform shows that it has not been changed in many days. The collar is greasy and the laces are stained with sweat. The air is tinged with the smell of inhaled stimulants that is used to give serfs the ability to work multiple watches without rest. What is that? Zydia sinks her spoon into the man's brain and slowly consumes the revolting morsel. I must know the taste of a criminal's thoughts. is how I learn and to recognize their patterns. This entertainment of yours reeks of corruption. Infinity is not bad nigh the man's death. A laughable accusation. You think yourself capable of detecting corruption? Something wild sparks in her pale eyes. You know not the first thing about perceiving it, sensing it, peering into people's souls and seeing the heinous therein. You do not know what it's like to look at their faces and see the brand of their impious deeds. But I know it all too well, and none will escape my wrath. What manner of slaughterhouse is this? Some atrocious travesty of justice. This is true justice. Unprejudiced, unescapable, and equally merciless to all. The Lord Inquisitor has bestowed upon me the honor of bringing order to this cesspool of pirate inheritance. The rid footfall of the corruption that has fettered its limbs and turned the Imperial Station into a hotbed of free thinking and inefficiency. And I will not rest until all of that has been judged. It must have been the Emperor's providence that brought you here to my court. It would be my pleasure to indict you for the crimes you've committed. I can either go with coercion or persuasion. What is it you wish to judge me for? Let us weigh the gravity of your transgressions, Vorg, and learn how you sullied yourself in the Emperor's eyes. Everyone knows how freely you interpret the strict prohibitions of the Emperor. With a feeble heart, you grant mercy to those who do not deserve it. Do not punish transgressions with the utmost severity. You do not strike terror into your subjects that will bring them to pious trepidation. You waste your energy and tend on the needs of non-entities, instead of turning them to his service. Under your hand, dangerous free thinking and satiety flourish, and will soon swell with the plagues of anarchy and dissonance. I deem the evidence against you sufficient to cast you as an enemy of humanity. I have just broken out. Well, I'm really tempted to use this, but go ahead. This should be interesting. The warrior clad in armor, adorned with the sign of the Inquisition, speaks in a voice that is even dried like paper. The old Inquisitor is aware of the rogue trader von Valencius' arrival on Footfall. He allowed it and gave no order of persecution. Rather, the Lord Inquisitor's will is that the rogue trader von Valencius to be treated with respect, befitting his high status. In her exhortations, Lady Corda is getting dangerously close to abusing her authority, and violating the chain of command. This is your warning. Zindia's pale cheek is hit by a spasm. Her lips curl as she mutters. No intention of questioning the Lord Inquisitor's orders. Perhaps he wishes to receive you in one piece so that he may conduct a personal interrogation. So are you in charge of Footfall now? Indeed I am. When the Lord Inquisitor enacted martial law in the Expanse, I offered him my support at once. Footfall was chosen as the Lord Inquisitor's headquarters. The position of Footfall's liege was temporarily abolished while the war lasted. Perhaps longer than that. All authority was transferred to the station's warden, to me. While the Lord Inquisitor is preoccupied with matters of strategic planning, I am tasked with security and order. And there is much to do on that front. Pirates and smugglers, apostates and cold traders, deserters and outlaws. Every one of them warrants attention. Cracking your neck, stiff from many hours of reading documents, Incendia again scoops up the brain from the open skull of the poor soldier that is currently dead. Everywhere you look, servants are buckling under heavy stacks of new denunciations, warrants, and other documents. Whom do you judge? All of them. thieves, smugglers, pirates, traitors, heretics, deserters, abettors, harpers, cowards, and perjurers. Any who has ever trespassed, any who has ever protected a miscreant, or kept quiet about a crime they knew of, they will all be condemned. With obsessive determination, Incendia starts going through her papers, seemingly no longer aware that she is doing so. More and more new convicts are being granted the great boon of undergoing servitude imperius, having rid themselves of simple consciousness, of serving the Imperium free in doubt and weakness. Footfall will once again become a bastion of law and righteousness. I will eradicate all heresy that prevents the faithless from giving themselves over to the good of toiling in his name. How long has your court been in... Well, there's nothing just about this trial. The accusations are contrived, and their purpose is simply to turn the entire population of Footfall into blind automatons. You think that I find enjoyment in this? Looking at vileness upon vileness, listening to one excuse after another. I loathe this, and despise every malefactor out there. If I were weak of will, I would have obliterated this foul station with nuclear fire. Instead, I'm here to offer each of them the right to be judged in his name, and a chance to return to his fold renewed. The universe is a terrifying place. We are surrounded by the Archenemy's machinations and Xenos' son, who would deny us our right to exist. The threat is inconceivable, and human weakness will not help us avert it. If man is weak, I will rid him of this spinelessness and feebleness, endowing him with a sacred narrowness of mind, and eradicating all that prevents him from utilizing the whole self in the service of the Imperium. She isn't lying. You can tell by her eyes and her voice trembling with earnest faith that Incendia genuinely believes in every word she just said. What makes you think you're entitled to govern... No, that's pretty obvious. The Lord Inquisitor goes in. Where's the Lord Inquisitor? In the Liege's chambers, coordinating the Expanse's defenses. His attention is focused on matters of vital importance, and he's not seeing any supplicants. The soldier wearing the Inquisitorial armor echoes Incendia's words. Your lordship cannot see the Lord Inquisitor now. However, he bade to inform your lordship that he will summon you later. The circumstances permit him to do so. What makes you think you are entitled to govern this place as you see fit? Such is the law of Footfall. Any rogue trader who arrives here assumes the right of absolute authority. Surely it's not the cutthroat Tokara, who deserves to rule this station. He will soon be hanging from the noose so that his Caspalan henchmen, so will the Avner Firebrands, whose outrageous activities brought Footfall so much grief. Once you hindered my efforts to subdue the station, and yet here I am, now dispensing justice to the wicked. I only regret that I was unable to get a start sooner. Then Taraka's troublemakers would have already been crushed instead of lurking in cargo bays and maintenance tunnels. Regardless, I will deal with them soon enough. I can tell you're quite popular with the locals. We will see. In due time, I will weed out all the taint that is bred here on Footfall for so long. And then pious fear, loyalty, and devotion will once again become pillars of this station under his watchful eye. What happened between you and Winterscale? Winterscale is a traitor. With the Expanse burned, ravaged by heretics and unhallowed Xenos... Oh god, 1 second. He abandons his duty completely, and has the nerve to ignore the Lord Inquisitor's call to battle. My servants are taking over his worlds and ships, while he is hiding from reckoning and indulging his base urges. Soon enough, he too will stand before judgment. Have you and Calligos lost your minds? The Expanse is in a calamitous state, and you two are busy settling scores. You must cease this at once. Negotiating with that mad dog is off the table now. You'll merely laugh at your talks of reconciliation and execute your envoys. For too long has Calligos reveled in impunity and believed himself king of his world. Those of you who acknowledge me as your sovereign are viewed by the law as subjects of the House Juan Valentius, and therefore exempt from court as their judgments. I will take you aboard my ship. The hopeful crowd of the atrium starts hysterically clamoring their oaths of fealty to House Juan Valentius. Not one of them thinks twice about clutching at the life-saving straw you have offered them. Incendia wearily leans on an armrest and looks at you with contempt. Take this pitiful gaggle of miscreants, Vorg, if you so desire. My trial will not end here. I have the whole Footfall, Judge. Enough words. Your accused wait, and so do my duties. Wait. You have a duty to the Emperor that you must see to. Vladimir Tokhara, the deplorable rebel who once ruled the station, has slipped away from me. He is instigating the people to revolt, killing my servants and hiding from my wrath with the dexterity of a void rat. My informers claim he often appears in a den of unrest that bears the irrelevant name of the Adeptus Mencus. We have made several attempts to arrest him, yet he evaded capture each time. Reverend Harmonius has gone there to convince him to surrender quietly. His efforts have likewise been unsuccessful. In the interest of Footfall's integrity, Tokhara must be apprehended. As a rogue traitor and authority, or order you to aid me in bringing him to justice. The asteroid where the Adeptus Immensis is located has been cordoned off. My enforcer will take you there. I want you to lure Tokhara out of his hole and seize him so he may stand trial. Do this for the sake of Footfall's liberation and pave the road that my justice will tread. You pronounce Vladimir a criminal. Why wouldn't I? That vile rogue's infamy is known to all. He patronized thieves, smugglers, and pirates. By his allowance, heresies and unholy cults flourished. That he has evaded punishment this long can only be described as gross negligence, which I intend to rectify before long. Why did Harmonius go there, then? Reverend Harmonius headed where the rebels are seen most often, so he could preach to them and sway them to repent. Alas, he cannot see the difference between those who have erred and those who are beyond any hope of redemption. And some of the people you wish to execute are useful to me. I purchase valuable equipment from them. Scoundrels and thieves will be replaced by honest suppliers. Even degenerates such as Kasbala can be of some use when coming crisis. But their willful leaders need to be replaced with more pliable and trepidatious successors. The only way for us to protect ourselves from being stabbed in the back. What do I stand to gain from this? Does it not satisfy you that the order and imperial compliance will be restored on Footfall? So you adopted too much from Theodora. Maybe her hubris, greed, and indifference to duty. I haven't the slightest desire to get involved in your petty squabbles. An adverse grimace appears in Incendia's face, and her voice trembles with anger and tension. You still cannot grasp the fact that everything has changed, for gone is the time where you could do only what you wish to do. It's now time to do what you must. As long as you refuse to cooperate, Footfall's isolated sectors will remain off-limits to you. Go and consider my words, and your position. Incendia dismisses you with an outrageously brazen gesture. Sure.
I always have a backup plan. What a peculiar thing.
It just means that we gotta do it our own way. The soldier was killed with a sudden blow to point-blank range, quickly and quietly.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust. I will lead us to fortune.
A bomb exploded here, most likely an improvised one.
Sherry.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Alright. And there's so much stuff here. It sucks seeing all this, but, you know, they are criminals, to be fair, but you don't go this far against them, right? That's a bit too far. But alas, this is just how she does things. Alright. Regardless, we'll grab everything that we go through here, and we'll see what comes up here.
Is there money to be made?
Gonna save here. Yep, it's closed to outsiders currently, so we will have to deal with the situation at hand. So, all in due time.
I always have a backup plan.
Alright, off we go. Can't really get that loot, so we'll just leave it alone. There doesn't appear to be anything else beyond this point, so we're just gonna head over, or try to head over, to the next area. But yeah, no, she can't really stop us, I don't think. Yeah, so we can go to Martyr's Endurance if we want. Whether she likes it or not, so there you go. We have the freedom to move wherever we want.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
Alright, before we go up here, we're actually going to be going down here. Because this is where the subquest goes in. And I'd like to do that first before we do anything else. So we are just going to march our way down over here. And we're going to go into the sewers. For this to work out, we are going to need to... Well, obviously we're going to need to bring... Jay along with us, but otherwise we're just gonna have to keep her close, obviously. So, yeah. Welcome to the Kingdom of Thieves, Killers, and Smugglers, Shireen. All the finest goods of Footfall, every last one of them, have passed through these tunnels. Jay throws up her arms in a theatrical display of reverence. As I said before, Paco's jackals are patrolling every nook and cranny of this as the cursed place. See those scumbags over there? We need to avoid them and not draw any attention to ourselves, or else we might as well dump a pile of grots all over our plan. But now, we are going to follow the plan. If you allow me, Shireen, I will refresh your memory. Avoiding the patrolling scum, we reach the sewer canal and follow it to the east almost until the very end. We connect the gas cylinders to the special intake. Ironically enough, it was previously used for cleaning the air. Then we need to take the valves into a few spots so that the gas reaches the correct chamber. I wish I knew exactly where the Ashmags was holed up. And the final move, like all best side players, Shireen, we find a service cogitator and send the gas along the pipes. And I'm sure I don't need to remind you that we must do all of this in complete silence. Not even the sewer rats are going to notice us, let alone Falco's lot. Alright, let's go. And may the exalted Emperor light our path. Alright, so basically we got a very unique quote-unquote stealth mission. It's not an amazing stealth mission, it just gets you to very carefully traverse the area. So we're going to have... our formation's going to be very tight here, simply because of the fact that we need to be stealthy here. We're going to go across here. And we're going to move all the way across here, so we're going to have to be careful here. We want to go this way in particular. And we're going to need to do some agility checks here.
Let's not waste time with pleasantries.
Alright, to start out with, we need to make an agility check to jump over this area, so we're going to save here and start off with this, and we'll go from there.
Success is the only outcome I accept.
There we go.
I always have a backup plan.
Made our way across with relative ease. And I do believe I just crossed this area to get across, as planned. There we go. Going those loots, then we need to make a tech use here. This is where the gas cylinder goes. Get in plain sight, if you will. Indeed. So now we just gotta make a bundle of skill checks, and then we're basically good. So
I won't let it define me.
Yep. So something you should know about this in particular thing: if you do it successfully, you can basically avoid combat entirely. And while you don't get that much experience from it, you will be able to save Jay's entire lot. So doing it this way is actually really ideal.
For profit and a taste for adventure.
Alright, we're gonna save here. And we'll continue on. Alright.
Just as I planned.
Alright, we're gonna march up to here. See, what do we got here?
This could be an opportunity.
Okay, that is 2 traps lined up with one another. That might be hard to disarm, so I'm actually gonna go this way, I think. Might be for the best.
I always
Okay,
have
there
a
we go.
backup plan. I will lead us to fortune.
Okay, let's carefully go across here. We're gonna save in particular. We'll go from there. Let's disarm this before we go any further.
I always get the job done.
There we go.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust. Fate and fortune favor the bold.
Alright, this might result in us triggering the trap, but we'll see. I'm hoping it doesn't. Otherwise, we're going to be in for a rough time, no matter what. So, oh, whoops. That's a load. I accidentally misclicked, so that's my fault there. But, yeah, worst case, we'll just, yeah. So, if we trigger a trap, unfortunately, then,
I have a nose for profit.
yeah, it's going to result in us
That's how
causing
it's
a
done.
ruckus. So, we got to be careful of that as well.
Success is the only outcome
There we go.
I accept.
Another valve. There we go.
Keep your wits about you.
Let's see. We can't go over there to Falco's Patroller, but we can certainly take the side passage here.
Let us not dawdle.
I'm going to move back a little bit and save, just to be safe, because I don't know whether we're going to be fine or not. So I'm going to save here and just pray. Regardless, we will continue on.
Is there money to be made?
Okay. We're going to go over here.
This is intriguing. Let's not waste time with
Alright, I'm going to
pleasantries.
disable this trap here.
I always get the job
Here we
done.
go.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Alright, that's another valve that we've covered. Good. Let's see, is there anything else around here? I don't think there is, but, you know, you never know.
I
You
always
check.
have a backup
Alright,
plan.
I think we've gotten everything there. We don't need to go back, so we don't need to go this way. So now we're just going to go this way, I do believe. We just got to be careful of, yeah,
Keep your wits about you.
we go in here.
That's a peculiar thing.
Let's not be too hasty. Falco's patrols are up ahead. We should blend into the shadows and move quietly. Indeed. They're going to save here in particular, and yeah.
Fate and fortune favor the bold. I always keep my options open. Just as
That-
I planned. Rise to the top.
Watch cross
or get
here.
left in the dust.
We go this way. And I do believe the last action here is to go here. is it?
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Oh, I think I have to... Okay, so no. Falco and his men is over there.
I always have a backup plan.
Let's see, is he gonna go over?
Let us not dawdle.
Quick. Disarm this.
That's how it's done.
Here we go.
I always keep my options open.
And bada boom. There we go. And if I'm correct... Pop the gas into the vent.
Keep your
Okay, I do
wits
believe I
about
can
you.
save in here and be safe, but you never know. So we're gonna save here and pray that's enough. But we're gonna have to be very careful here, I imagine, so... Oh god, okay.
Rise to the top, or
Back
get
up.
left in the dust. Is there money to be made?
Okay. Just be patient.
Let us not dawdle. Always keep your eye on the prize.
Okay. We'll wait for the dude to go walking up here, and then we should be good. Apologies if I've been quiet.
I will lead us to fortune.
Okay, we're gonna save here. Then we will make the tech use check, and then we'll be good to go. Then we'll be fine.
I always get the job
You
done.
hear the displeasured grumble of a drowsy gears from the deep inside the cogitator, but the machine spirits obey and awaken the cogitator's stream. Let's set it up. And with that, that is how you sneak around and knock everybody unconscious. There you go. As a result, the outlaws are basically incapacitated and we should be fine. Wake up, Tora. Come on, you bloody Kasha. Wake up. Jay shakes the surviving twin by the shoulders. Yeah? Get out of here. It's a trap. It won't let you go. The bruised, bloodied face of the swollen eyes is hard to recognize as the once radiant visage of Tora the twin. By the Exalted One, what's that Ashmak done to your poor face? Light of my soul. Jay gently strokes the girl's swollen cheek and then turns to you. He will die here like the scum he is, Shireen. It's what he deserves. You do not seem to be asking a question. Let's not descend into anarchy, Jay. You got what you wanted. Well... yeah, let him face judgment. We are merciful, but we aren't above the law. You got what you wanted. You go to court now. I wonder what you're thinking of, Shireen. Mercy? The Imperium? Or how to make this Ashmak suffer most? All of them suit me because everyone on Footfall knows that you'd be better off strung up on a live wire than in an interrogation room with insidious hounds. I suppose, yeah. Did you guess for a piece of shit like you, Falco? Dora spits yet another tooth out of her bloody mouth, straight onto the sleeping face of her tormentor. The rest of the gang are huddled together. Despite their pitiful physical condition, they greet you with the satisfied smirks, and they continually shoot delighted glances at you and Jay. Well, Shireen, from now on, Footfall can sleep soundly. The foulest wart on its rusted body has finally been burned off by none other than Jay Aeldari, and her wonderful patron, of course. I'll admit I'm still struggling to wrap my head around what's happened. I need to go over things with my guys. I'm sure I'll have advice and instructions to hand out. As for our little adventure, let's talk about it back on the ship, in a more private setting. Indeed.
Keep your wits
That will be
about
for
you.
the future, but let's just check to see if there's anything else. I don't think there is. There isn't really much loot in this area. The most we would have gotten is probably from this room, but we already grabbed that loot,
Rise to the
so
top or get left
we're
in the
basically done.
dust.
The only difference that would have happened is basically violence would have ensued, and yeah. Well, I assume that her companions would die, so that's not cool. Kosher, if you will. But hey, that's why you got to play it sneaky in that particular instance. It's not too hard, all things considering. It's just tedious more than anything. Regardless. Let's figure out the main issue that is going on here. And I guess we could kick, I guess we could try and go into Toy Box here. But I don't know how successful we'd be at doing this, situation here. Let's see. I guess I am going to need to update it, actually. Hold on. Okay, so it appears Toy Box period is not working. Okay. So I am going to have to go on updating that. So that is my, sadly, something I'm going to have to do, period. Alright, let's go see what's going on here. You have no options, Ryza. If you abandon Footfall, Corda and flee, where are you going to sell your goods, or restock your supplies? It will just be a slow death for all of you. No missiles, no water, no air. So quit bargaining with the inevitable and follow the plan. Your plan is a suicide pact. You have no allies, no weapons, no nothing. Vladimir and Ryza notice you, and the old pirate grins at this sarcastically. You're trying to play above your league, Vlacamo. You've taken on a road trader dynasty with only a handful of cutthroats and a couple of guns to your name. I see your march to the gallows is more of a gallop. Turning away from Ryza, Vladimir's expression does not change, but an indistinct curse falls from his lips. Liege Sakara, my greetings. Vladimir replies in a ceremonious voice. My apologies for being unable to receive your lordship in my office. My present status imposes certain limitations on me. Greetings, your lordship. As for you, Vlacamo, I got nothing to add. Plans utter shit, and the kind of gamble I don't take. I'll leave you to think about your prospects and maybe realize that using my shuttle would be a better idea, while the shuttle and I are still here. Let's look at Vladimir. Let's see how he's doing. The former liege looks angry and focused. His coat collar is unbuttoned, showing the mashwork of ceramite-reinforced armor hidden underneath. He's wearing a gun holster on his side now that Vladimir has thrown off the mask of a disgruntled bureaucrat. His sleeves are rolled up, showing his old bandit tattoos. He's exuding an aura of imperious cruelty. Yeah. How's the station faring? It turned into a kingdom of death. Teaching protesters, cracking down to corrupt traitors, and suppressing dissidents are all good, useful policies within reasonable limits. It's myself, in fact. However, with Lady Corda, reasonable limits are a distant memory at this point. Fortunately, I've been preparing for that turn of events ever since the first time that Hag tried to take Footfall. You helped us then, giving me time to organize. I set up weapon caches, enlisted more fighters, and deleted my agent's data from the Cogitator network. When Corda took power, she thought she'd won. But the station was still mine. To an extent. My little army is waging war on the enforcers. We slaughter patrols, wrestle back detainees, and punish those who collaborate with the enemy, or are close to someone who does. Bodeman's ruthless smile is like a jagged steel trap. Incendia under reprisal, and I have mine. Must remember that there are consequences for collaborating with the oppositional force. I see you're in a position of power has not changed you. Still, the bandit you always were. Vitamin smiles tersely. Old habits never go away, I'll admit. I didn't exactly miss the days of my youth, but to find myself in the line of fire again is invigorating. Your Lordship, perhaps you have a little love to spare for me. Nor have you built a strong alliance with the organization I'm a member of, but... yeah, I haven't really cooperated a lot with them. But if looking at the new order of things on Footfall gives you even a tiny suspicion that it's damn madness, step in and help me stop it. What kind of help do you expect from me? A general uprising will be doomed. The enforcers have isolated the asteroids. We can't strike out against Incendia, because the greater numbers, and our thrown refractor field will protect her from any attack. An insidious smile appears on the leech's lips. So we'll ask her ladyship to come to us, exploiting her overconfidence. Wants my blood, let her come and spill it. She knows we use the Imentius as our meeting place. If you let the enforcers know I can be found and grabbed in here, she will come, hardly with her throne in tow, I imagine. We'll lure her into her trap, kill her, and take back Footfall. Why would I take part in that? Because a critically important station in the Expanse is about to become a graveyard. Once commerce dies, merchants will turn to piracy. What else could they do? Connections between worlds will be weakened, and since Cora will make a short work of the Astropass as soon as she gets to them. Corda, do you think Footfall will be enough for her? No. She'll march on, perhaps to your worlds as well. Besides, your lordship has not yet considered the possibilities that working with the Kasvala mission opens up. Now is the perfect moment you will gain a new ally. In a time of crisis, every friendship is valuable. Incendia Corda has nothing to offer you, while my organization's gratitude is guaranteed. Between losing an influential partner and strengthening your ties with them, I'm sure you'll opt for the latter. What sized force do you command? However much Corda would like to believe she's kicked the Kasvala out of Footfall, she hasn't. We're scattered all over the station, lying low. There's still enough of us to cause trouble. A small band of my most daring cutthroat staff members will be by my side when I came to power. Business partners who still remember that any venture is only as reliable as the grip of the venturer's hand on their pistol. Add to that the groups of Xenos mercenaries which my colleagues from the Kasvala mission have provided me with. A radical solution, I know, but I don't care who they'll kill as long as I pay them. I have the means to pay them. Would have great numbers if Ryza wasn't so damnably cautious, and Harmonious did us a favor in shutting his preaching trap. I would have long thrown the good reverend for a loop if it weren't for the fanatical mob that would show up here to avenge him. What does Ryza have a problem with? She has misgivings about the prospect of our cooperation. The old rogue prefers not to pick fights unless her victory is a foregone conclusion. Right now, she seems to be planning on fleeing rather than fighting. She needs the right kind of motivation. What a shame there's no one to no one the cold woman values enough for me to take them hostage. And why did Ryza call you Vlacamo? Old nicknames die hard, and old habits. I used to be known by that name in a station. The Vlacamo is a myth. Spirit stalking the prey of Footfall's empty sectors. I had a terrible reputation when I was young. And why was Harmonious shown up here? He preaches repentance. Porter sent him here to make us lay down our arms and renounce our rebellious ways. But he seems taken aback by the scale of Lady Ascendia's purges. He opened up possibilities. If we put pressure on him, he'll bring over zealots who will tear apart whoever he points his finger at. Well, man, regret not establishing rapport with him sooner. And news of Incendia's death is hardly going to please the Lord Inquisitor. Considering Calligos has never once interfered with the station's affair, he doesn't care about Footfall. That means he also doesn't care who runs the station. So long as things are quiet on it, I'm going to make sure things are quiet. Granted, he did give Quarter a security detail, but if she's already dead and her death doesn't smell of deadly heresy, he likely won't bother to investigate. The Lord Inquisitor will simply entrust governance to someone who doesn't cause him problems. Me. I realize it's a bold hypothesis, and the Lord Inquisitor may have me hanged for Quarter's death, but my life is at stake as it is. Might as well take the risk. Understand? I'll help you overthrow Korda. Each second of her continued rule will cost lives of hundreds of innocent people. Glad you're with us, your lordship. This is a fight we must be well prepared for. As a colleague of mine used to say, if your brain doesn't hurt from all that thinking of where to hide, you'll find out even your skull isn't thick enough once the fight's on. Which sounds especially ironic considering how he died. I'd like to ask your opinion on how prepared we are to entertain Lady Incendia. Perhaps some of these gathered here will support us. Ryza's people, Harmonious' zealots, even Octavia's regulars. We can use whomever we get. If you think that it may be worth fortifying our positions or preparing a few supplies for our guests, my people and arsenal are at your disposal. All I have to do is say the word. As soon as we're ready, send Quarter a message, saying that I'm here. Let her come. We'll settle our differences on Footfall's way, with the gunfights. I'd like to make a deal with Caspalia. Regretfully, your lordship, I have nothing to offer you at the moment. Okay. Oh well. Well, it was worth a shot. I'm sure he'll open up once we get more stuff, but I digress. Do some tech use here. I don't really care if Jay opens it or not, so we'll have to deal with that later, but alas. We'll deal with all this stuff later.
I always keep my
Let's do some investigation here and figure out what's going on here. See what we got available here.
I have a nose for profit and a taste for adventure. Always keep your eye on the prize.
Got a drink there, nice. Okay, let's see. Chaplains, vagabonds, yeah. Basically a bunch of people here. We're going to collect everything that we can here before we go any further, because this is going to be loot. We are going to order a mine to be set up here. There we go. We can order fuel barrels here.
Left in the dust. Fate and fortune favor
the barrels are going to be moved because those could be used to help against defense. There is a few other things around here, I'm sure, that we can take advantage of, just to make the odds ever in our favor. Of course, though, that is assuming we even get into a fight, because I plan to try and get very diplomatic here. Ordered fuel barrels to be placed in a room. There you go. Fuel barrels are now into place, so that way it's got a bit of an explosion kick to it. Make an awareness check while we're at it. The shoddy cover will offer little protection against a well-aimed shot, but at least it will conceal the target from the shooter. Which means we get plenty of cover. So there you go. Octavia looks tired, but finds strength to smile briskly. She pours 2 shots of clear yellowish liquid and shrieks a promethium in it, and slides one towards Ryza. Let's drink her infallible ladyship Quarter's mercy and good judgment, wherever they are right now. Let me skip the conversation for now. And
Keep
we're
your
gonna
wits
save
about
here,
you.
and then we'll go and talk with them. Because we're gonna need to be very diplomatic here to try and convince them to help out. Got anything strong, Octavia? For you always, my lord. A dusty but finely made greenish bottle with a wax seal appears in the bar. Lord Winterscale's favorite blend. So good it's not entirely legal. However, during his last visit, his lordship told me to put a bottle aside until his return. And who knows if he'll ever return here now. Be a waste. Then here's to Calligos' health and his prudence. If there's anything in the world her infallible ladyship hates more than us, it's Calligos Winterscale. We'll heartily join your toast. How you been doing here without me? Badly, but we're in no mood to lay down and die yet. There are still people who can't stand Quarter's regime, and they are fighting. A sting a day, always somewhere new. Bottom may be on the run, but he's still... Yeah. Basically, I'm gonna skip through most of this dialogue, but ultimately, it's just, talking. Yeah. Ryza, we need some help. Your eyes pierce the pirates, and you sense that the burden of her transgressions is so heavy that it will soon drag her under. Her fear has allowed a malicious will to sink its claws into her soul and tear it slowly to pieces. Oh, we're not fanatic yet? Jesus. Hold on. Okay. I am interested in the Fellowship of the Void Wares. Let's see. Yeah, we're not going to get a chance to do this much, so we might as well... Well, no. There's no reason to do so. Your soul is full of corruption. You haven't been cahooting with the Archenemy's forces, have you, Ryza? How do you like her ladyship now? One look and you can tell the wicked from the righteous. I suppose it's easy enough to guess that pirates have a misdeed or two in her name, but no one's ever accused me of serving the Archenemy before. You wound me, Lordship. As much as Ryza is trying to turn it all into a joke, there's anxiety in your eyes, and her hand is reaching unconsciously for something concealed in her shirt, or her chest as if she's trying to hide it from someone. Laudon needs your help. Your Lordship, his plan is the death throes of a cornered and condemned man, who's grasping at imaginary straws. The Vlacamo was once smart, shrewd, and wily, but now he's simply refusing to admit he's already lost. We modest dealers are no match for a road trader. It'd be different, of course, if we were strongly motivated or had a road trader on our side. A rather modest reward for a modest dealer, don't you think? Ryza's eyes widen. You sure know the path to old Ryza's heart. Be careful, I don't go pop, of course. Taking on a quarter is madness, but then again, one doesn't get paid this much for anything else. Oh, what the warp. My crew and I will take part in your little uprising, but don't ask me for details. Old Ryza prefers to keep quiet about the backstage side of her insidious and sunstrike. I see. Nothing more to say, then. Your help would be of use. The woman looks at you pensively. And by we, you mean you and Vladimir? He always has a plan, but it's by far not always the best plan. Why should I believe in your idea? It's not about whose idea it is, but what we're doing it for. People on Footfall. For you, Octavia. For your freedom from the insane zealot's reign of terror. The patrons greet your last sentence with an enthusiastic roar. Her heartfelt speech resonates with the commoners and seems to have stirred Octavia too. You sure know how to be persuasive, your lordship. You're right. You're ready to risk your life for us, and here I am being picky like a noble offered a Nutribar made of ground corpses. Count on me. I don't have any fighters, but I do have a shipment of non-human weapons. Lethal, but with no guarantee of quality. Figuring out how it even works is tricky enough, but that still beats the junk Vladimir's cutthroats are armed with. They can have a round on the house. Alright, there we go. I'm curious as to what is our Iconoclast class, or Iconoclast level is. We are 5 points away from actually reaching the next level, which is Fanatic. So we're going to talk with Harmonious, and I think we can actually... Actually, hold on. Yeah. I might actually load that, just to see if I can get a bit more from Harmonious first. Why are you preaching here among rebels? It is not rebel that I see. I see fools and malefactors whose weakness made them reject the law of the Imperium, who need repentance and instruction. Had I come here earlier, perhaps I would have been able to prevent this heretical insurrection. What do you see, people? What do you see, Rope Trader? I see frightened people trying to save their lives. You are entirely right, but it's not their lives that they should be saving. It's their souls that are truly in peril. Oh, 1 second. Alright, so something has come up. I need to be right back real quick. Apologies for the delay. Something just came up. I will be back in like 5 or so minutes, I'm hoping. But we'll have to see. I'll see you guys in a bit. See you a bit. I apologize, it took a lot longer than expected, but I am now back. Just give me a moment to relax here. Alright, so I need to check something with the referent here real quick, so give me a second. Okay, so we need Fanatic Iconoclast if we want to convince him, basically. Okay. That's gonna be hard to get. Oh well, we'll be fine. Okay, we're just gonna skip through most of the dialogue here. Okay, what is our current Iconoclast here? Let's see. We're at 295. We need 5 more points before we get to Fanatic, which is exactly what we need. So we need to find a way to get 5 more points into Iconoclast here, if we want to make this work.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
I'm gonna save here first, before I go any further then.
Success is the only outcome I accept. I always have a backup plan.
I need to squeeze 5 more Iconoclast here, if I want this to work out.
Is there money to be made?
Alright, well, regardless. I guess we're gonna get the 5 Iconoclast from talking with her, worst case, but we just need to push that envelope. We'll have to see. Let's see. Drussian relics are basically over with. Are you preaching here? Have you sheltered a pirate among your brethren? Chaplain is a deeply believing servant of the Emperor. You are as intimately familiar with human vice as him. That is what fills his word with sincerity. His flock heeds and respects him. And as for all the hardened rascals and cutthroats who are part of the flock, why not? Our doctrine shuns no one, so as long as they are willing to receive its words with open soul. You give penitents a chance for redemption. Commendable. I take no credit for that. They choose the path for themselves. I merely point out the path that is open to all, and instruct those who have started their journey to redemption. For thus, St. Druss has taught us. Reverend, I want to stop Incendia. Help me. Apparently, Jay's just absurdly good in this check, apparently. Well, I guess considering she's here, whatever. The law of the Imperium is harsh, but not every transgression is punishable to death. Incendia thinks herself above the law, and that is heresy. You are right. Our lives belong to the Emperor, and no one has the right to needlessly take them away from him. People who in this dark hour could have atoned in battle against the enemies of humanity are instead perishing senselessly, robbed of their privilege to serve the Emperor. Incendia thinks herself above him, and that is an egregious crime. Now you have banished my doubt. I will do what must be done. St. Drusus' faithful will aid you in battle. Alright. Ryza. Okay. Vladimir needs your help. We can either go diplomacy or we just go with the data slate. I'm gonna go with the data slate. Why not? We won't be able to go to Fanatic, though. I hate that we can't do the Fanatic thing. That is what irritates me the most. I'm gonna reload here, actually. We've already gotten the help for the majority. We just need to get a small bit of Iconoclast EXP, and then we can level up. So we need to find a way to get that Iconoclast up, is the thing. I'm just wondering if there is a way to get it up by 5 points. I'm gonna have to leave the station for a little bit. I don't think it's gonna affect us too heavily if we do this. It's only a matter of time. We're just gonna hold off for now. Oh. Okay, so we can't even leave. Okay, great. Lovely. So we are gonna have to do it this way. Rip. Alright, well, whatever. I guess it's fine. We'll just have to live with our choices. Yeah, we're just gonna go with that. There we go. Let's get the pirates to help us, Ryza, and we'll go from there. Alright. Alright, well, we got the help of everybody. We're basically ready. It's not the most ideal outcome because we don't have the Iconoclast boost that I was hoping for, but that's perfectly fine. Alright, we'll have to live with our choices, though. But eventually, we're gonna get Fanatic anyways, so it's not a big deal. So, YOLO. I see no issue with letting Incendia know you're here. Get ready. Your enemies will be here soon. I will send my least important associates to the entrances to take the brunt of the initial assault. That should thin our guests' numbers. I'd almost forgotten how much I love all this. Without thinking, Vladimir reaches out for his pistol to check how easily it slides out the holster. Then he smiles. It's an easygoing, young, and bloodthirsty smile. Stay where you are. Lay down your weapons. We are here for the criminal Vladimir Tokar and his accomplices. Members of the heretic Vladimir Tokar gang, lay down your arms and face righteous justice. They'll hang us all. Don't trust them. What the hang woman? I hope you respond like this. The forces attack for the Jester quarters in the Emperor. I guess it's time. Flames rage in Corda's furious gaze as she surveys the bar. Her figure seems to exude a ruthless radiance, cool like the scorching sun of a desert world. Rebels and heretics, I, rogue trader Incendia Corda, master of Footfall and defender of justice, am ordering you to lay down your arms. Harsh justice awaits those who surrender. An ignoble death awaits those that rest. I hate that I can't choose this Iconoclast myth. No. You know what? I'm gonna pause stream because I am 5 points away. I'm irritated that I don't have this point. So, you know what? I'm gonna reload this autosave. That's in tune with this. Hold on. Alright, so I'm going to be doing something to background. I'm actually going to pause stream here, so that way I can fix this issue. And I'm going to update the game a little bit. So I apologize for the delay. I'm going to spend some time fixing this, and then I'm going to spend another hour streaming. So I apologize for this hiccup here, but I'm probably going to cheese it just this one time, just for the Iconoclast features. But I digress. I will see you guys in a bit. Take care. Alright, apologies for the delay, I am now back. Just let me take a moment to check to see if everything is running as intended. It does appear that that is the case. There we go, good. Apologies for the delay. So, let me elaborate what I've done. So, first I had to refix the mod manager, as you can probably see. What I've done is I've kicked Jay out of the party. Not only that, but going into our remote here, we're going to turn off the stats here for a moment. I've managed to reduce everybody back down to 0, including Ulfar, because that is something I intended to do to begin with. But yeah, as you saw, I was inspecting stats and trying to get things ready. And as you can see, I've increased my hope up to 300. Now, I only added 5 points, and I'm going to be removing them once we actually finish one of the dialogue options, because we will still get Iconoclast feature bonuses from these dialogue options. I mainly wanted to do this simply because I didn't want to go through the effort of actually reloading the entire game and then having to work from the prior set point, which is like 2-3 hours ago. I hope you guys understand, but I will be removing the points once I actually do get the Iconoclast thing. It's just for lore things I'm doing it this way because it's more convenient that way. But I digress. Rambling aside, let's talk to Harmonious Dorsomo. Alright. I've already done most of this dialogue here, so I'm just going to skip through it. But, yeah. I want to stop Incendia. Help me. Because her actions fly in the face of all that you believe in, that you truly believe in, Incendia's world has no place for redemption or mercy or penitence. Would the sight of such a world please your eyes? Harmonious' eyes are filled with bitter sadness. No, it would not. My way of serving him has always been different from the Ecclesiarchy's beaten path. St. Drussians' doctrine taught me virtues that are unknown to many among the righteous, and I, in turn, taught them to my brothers and sisters. I tried to teach them to Incendia too, but these chose a different path. It is time for me to remind her of those lessons. Now you've banished my doubt. I will do what must be done. St. Drussians' faithful will aid you in battle. Goodbye, Reverend. I wanted to do that not only for this, but also to help out Ryza. Now, with that in mind, we're going to reduce it by 5 points here. And that way I still have kept it somewhat legitimate. It's just meh. It's as close to legitimate as I'm going to get. So we are now at 315 Iconoclast. And we got a new feature, which is Transcend the Potential. Sadly, we cannot use this Iconoclast feature because we are a solo runner. Anytime we have a companion with us, it's kind of useful, but that's only if we use Iconoclast features. But sadly, that isn't the case here. So, sadly, yeah, we're just going to have to make do here. Regardless, let us go talk with them and see what we can do here. Octavia? Ryza and I need to exchange a few words. Alright, I'm just going to go through the dialogues here, just so... Yeah. We're not going to even ask for Vladimin's help. Ryza, the forces you have opened yourself up to will be your undoing. What's more, your crew too will pay for that with their souls, because of you. Ryza's expression turned to stone. She peers tensely to her glass, as if trying to find some answer on the bottom. Finally, she raises her eyes at you, looking incredibly tired. You're cruel, you know, your lordship. The way you found where this old pirate was hiding her conscience and dragged it kicking and screaming into the light. Got in over my head and almost dragged my guys down with me. Be a bad captain if I allowed my fear to kill my crew. Thank your esteemed self for talking some sense to me. Got a light? The pirate casually rips some kind of amulet from her neck, with a beast-fanged head crowned by horns. She tosses it into her near-empty glass of rock guts and throws the match you offered her after it. The contents of the glass are immediately engulfed in unholy purple flame. A minute later, all that's left is the ash of a nasty puddle of black metal at the bottom. Satisfied with the results, Ryza smashes the glass on the floor. Vladimir needs your help. And a rather immodest reward for a modest dealer, don't you think? And that is all we're going to be doing. Those are the things I wanted to get done, but the Iconoclast thing was the most important, as you can probably imagine. But I digress. We are going to save here because that is the most prep that we can do, as I probably imagined that you guys have wanted to see. I apologize that I had to cheese it a little bit, but that's to be expected. The only thing left is to deal with,
or get left in the dust.
Yeah, no, we've already dealt with the protection, so yeah. Let's talk with Vladimir and get this show on the road properly. I will skip the dialogue and then we'll go into the straight fight here. Or, quote-unquote fight. But this is the main reason why I wanted to do it, as we will see pretty quickly what's going to happen here. Assuming the game loads quickly enough. Here she comes. Now, whether we can convince her or not, that's hard to say. Repent, Incendia. You have lapsed and turned into a monster. Incendia raises an eyebrow and asks in a concerned voice, has horror driven you out of your mind, Vorg? Your verdict bear no relation to the confined justice of the Imperium. You create abrasiveness, create your own laws, which means your own Imperium. That is heresy. A rogue traitor the ultimate crime is to reject the Emperor's protection, make their reign absolute, becoming a brash rival to God and blasphemous tyrannical heresiah. I have seen your thirst for blood. You revel in sentencing and executing. Are you going to dispute that? Am I lying? No, we're going to need to load that again. So we need to increase our lore, and then we need to increase our diplomacy, it seems. So those are the two key features here that we need to make, essentially. But if we can do both of those, then we're basically golden, it seems. So, if we go into our items... We'll go into all items here. Let's see. We don't need Lord Xenos. Fellowship and Commerce is not what we need. Willpower bonus to Lore Warp, nope. 5 to Lord Xenos, no. Lore Imperium tests depend on Fellowship instead of Intelligence, gain 3 bonus, nope. Commerce and Lore Imperium, nope. 15 to Lore Imperium. And we need Persuasion here. So it's either we take this... Well, actually, hold on. If I type in skills, I can actually just accurately... Yeah, skill. There we go. And if we aim for these, there we go. We can basically narrow it down to skills, period. Okay, let's see. Medicae, Carouse, Agility, Imperium, yeah. If we take this off, we reduce all of our stats by 10. So this will reduce us lower if we do take that off. If we take off the Lore Imperium, that actually makes it worse. So we need something that increases our points without affecting us too heavily. Let's see. Uh, 25 logic. Nope. This gives us a boost to persuasion. No. -5 to awareness, but a +20 to coercion. We equip that instead, that'll be better. So that'll increase our coercion a little bit. What else can we do here? Persuasion boost would probably be a good go-to. Here we go. Commerce and more Imperium, not going to cut it. Persuasion would be nice, but not probably going to be the best outcome here. Any boosts that can help us here? Not really. These give agility and athletics. Although I guess it's better than the lightweight boots in this particular instance. So we equip these here. There we go. That'll help our statistics, potentially. Alright, let's save here, and let's hope this is a winning strat that I've got. Oh, wait, hold on. There is also the cloak that we can wear that gives us a +5 to all skill checks when at full HP. I just need to find it. It is... Where is it? Here? No. Here it is. On Valencia's cloak. While worn, we get a +5 to all stats, which is really good.
I always keep my options open.
Alright, let's hope that's enough. It's just a push in the right direction, and hopefully our skill checks are going to muster enough to actually complete this. But we're going to have to do a few reloads. Well, hopefully it loads quickly, but we'll have to see. Alright. Again, that's a load. I guess we have to reload on the Martyr's Endurance here, and then we'll go from there. Oh well. All the same. We just gotta speed through it, and hopefully we get the successes that we need. We need to succeed those 2 low ordained checks. If we could do that, we're basically good. Alright. I've seen your thirst for blood. You revel in yeah. Man, she's stubborn. At least we got a save, or a quick save here, so that way we can reload as much times as we need. But essentially, we need to convince her that both checks are successful, and try and talk her down from all this mess. It's a hard, difficult check, but it is really necessary to do. You'll understand why soon enough. You are not lying, I do enjoy it. There we go. For a rogue trader, the ultimate crime is to reject the Emperor's protection. To make their reign absolute, become a brash rival of God and blasphemous tyrannical Crusader. Zinnia lowers her head, and shadows seem to thicken around the hall. The radiance fades from her eyes. Enough, I repent. I yearn to serve the Emperor, but exacting vengeance upon his foes was so delicious. Oh, 1 second. Apologies, I'm now back. But exacting vengeance upon his foes was so delicious that I abandoned my duty for the sake of my gratification. I made Footfall my house of pleasures. I was a harsh judge, not because it was what he wanted, but because it was what I wanted. I executed those his law forbade to execute. Putting themselves above the Emperor is the most terrible act a rogue trader could commit. I've lapsed into heresy. I must be convicted. Judge me, Vorg. I, who have strayed, committed myself to his mercy and his harshness. State your crimes. Arrogance was born in my heart, and it trampled on my sense of duty. I forgot the Emperor's commandments, which are as strict as they are merciful, and became a bringer of death and death only. Not serving the Imperium of humanity, I was building a pitiful purity of his creation. What can you say in your defense? I only dreamt of being worthy servant of the Emperor, of doing his will, of punishing his enemies, turning this corrupt and decrepit system into an abode that is worthy of his light and does not diminish his greatness. The verdict will be lenient. Incendia Corda, I banish you from Footfall. Part. I deserve no quarter, but I accept my punishment. I'm going to exile to do my penance. Farewell, Vorg. Emperor, have mercy on me. I had my doubts before, but now I see they are warranted. Of all defenders of the Expanse, only she was worthy of being his shield. Her repentance is but further proof of it. I was a fool not to believe in her. Is this how the cleansing of Footfall ends? No! Harmonious cries out in woe and looks around the hall with ferocious eyes. Incendia may not have been the holiest and purest of the Emperor's tools, but who will be left here when she's gone? Him? Her? Harmonious points to his fingers at Vladimir and Ryza, and finally you. You? Are you going to protect the law and the faith? Emperor Faithful, our protector was caught in a web of conspiracy. She was lied to. Therefore, let us avenge her and carry on her cause. When thou hast stepped on to the nest of corruption, destroy those that dwell therein. Smite and torment them like his wrathful instrument, that knoweth no fear. Avenge his sorrow and shun pity in the name of thy love for him. To battle for Incendia Corda and the Emperor.
It was inevitable.
That's a shame. It seems Harmonious is a bit, too wacky here.
You will Here we go. But I will grant no.
Alright, well, I guess we're in combat now. We just gotta deal with Harmonious now. And, his guards. Which are gonna be a nasty foe.
Hold on. Die!
Alright, so yeah, we gotta deal with Corda and Vladimir's group here. Can we load in a particular point? No. So we're gonna have to do this no matter what. I kind of expected this to be the outcome, but I wasn't expecting us to get into the fight so soon. Alas. We can choose an ally here, and we're actually going to use Vladimir as the focus here. There you go, buddy. Enjoy transcending the potential. Alright, so for this, we are going to need to get into position and get ready for a bloodbath of sorts. Alright. I'll start by attacking you guys here.
It's as good as done. Good offense.
Oh, right. Because of our AP currently, we actually got way more attacks than I'm originally thinking we do. It's been a while, though, but you know what? It's the same difference here.
Who, if not
Yeah,
me?
so if we activate this, we get another wildfire that is at the same power. Bada boom.
What's to come.
Then we'll activate this. And get a single shot off there. There we go. And from there, we activate this, which is going to get us the defensive boost that we need. There we go. We only got 3 stacks, but that's perfectly fine. Haunting Scream, okay.
Let's make it quick. Here we go.
Ooh.
Break them morale. The Imperium.
I'm very confused why he is trying to attack us when we're trying to grant her mercy, of all things. I think this is probably the best outcome for the whole situation. Although I guess I could do a quick Google search just to see. This could have not ended in a fight, though, I feel. In fact, I'm gonna probably do a Google search just to confirm. Yeah, give me a second. I want to do a Google search just to confirm this. Hold on. Okay, Footfall. Okay, here we go. Alright, I guess there is nothing indicating that it really helps or not, but regardless, we will be fine.
Let's get to it.
We'll live.
Time to slaughter. Scared.
Okay, they're getting really violent, I suppose. Okay. What are you gonna do? You're gonna do a... Okay, interesting attack. Okay. Anything else? Hello? Game's being really wonky, I guess. There we go, finally. Alright, let's see. If I do this, I am perfectly fine. We'll activate this. There we go. We're gonna do a barrage directly here. There we go. We'll activate Wildfire to get even more attacks in. Guess I'll aim for the warrior right in front of me here. There we go. Nothing there. Let's activate these two. And swap to a sword and board style here. And we should get some insane defenses here, I do believe. In fact, yeah. 126, 122. Our dodge is slowly going to scale exponentially, which is exactly what we want. We're not exactly perfect in this combat, but we will be perfectly fine.
My faith strengthens me.
Not sure why Harmonious Dorsolo is rebelling against us, but maybe it's just because he's causing a ruckus.
Out of my way.
Well, regardless, I'm following the Iconoclast to a T, so whatever. I think this is the right path that we need to take.
Let's get to it.
What are you doing, Harmonious? Why did you decide to do that? Okay. Okay. It's a good thing we're very dodge heavy, even though we're not that good at dodge right now. I hope as that just speeds up, though. Do... Ah, bastard. Okay. Apologies for the language. That was annoying. I got accidentally skipped as a result of that. Damn. Oh well. Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, finally. Alright. Let's activate steady superiority here. We're gonna do an AoE here. Oh god, okay. We'll swap to the gun here. We're gonna aim for you specifically. There we go. Activate this because I completely forgot that we had that. We'll activate Wildfire here. I'll aim for this. Swap to the sword and board here. We're gonna do a run and gun here. This will provoke, but that's fine. I want it so I can do this. There we go. And I will activate Reveled Slaughter here just to increase our ballistics, and then Concentrated Fire to add on top of that. And then we can go quite literal ham on these enemies here. We should be good.
Here we go. Stay vigilant. Weapon at the ready. Only a pain will stop me.
I need to check something real quick, because this does matter. Hold on. Alright, apologies for the delay. I just had to check something. I don't think we're going to get Incendia Corda as a, but it is worth noting that she is available around. Or at least I do believe she'll be fine here, but we'll see. Regardless, we're going to move over to here. We are going to activate Firearm Mastery. We are going to start by firing against these guys here. Alright, we'll do a pot shot here. Another Enforcer goes down here. There we go. Another shot. We are going to move... Well, first we're going to turn off Cautious Approach here at this point. We are going to go Reckless Rush here. There we go. We are going to do another pot shot here. There we go. We are going to activate Wildfire to get even more boosts. Do this. Bada boom. And then we just pot shot the bodyguard here. And thanks to our massive bullet supply, we're basically good. And we're going to be dealing enough to warrant the clearance. There we go. Vladimir surveys the carnage and says dryly in Morsley, "What a mess. Thank you for helping me deal with it, your lordship. Your help has been invaluable, but the Gaspala mission will nonetheless try to approximate and match its value in the most generous of terms." What are you meaning to do next? I'll restore control. I'll free the prisoners and give merchants back their impounded cargo. Replace the lowlifes her ladyship put in charge with my own lowlives. I'll take care of those of the station sectors that slowly dying in isolation, and of course, I'll send an envoy to the Lord Inquisitor to bring him to the news and inform him of my willingness to cooperate. I want Corda's enforcers to not face any reprisals. Let them leave. I'm no butcher. Her ladyship's enforcers may leave the station, except those personally complicit with the killings of my employees' friends and loved ones. I have a responsibility towards them. Congratulations, your lordship. You have one less rival in the Expanse. Now that we've dealt with the pressing issues, do you have any other instructions regarding the station's governance going forward? After all, Footfall is now under your exclusive personal protection. Vladimir and everyone in the pub looks at you expectantly. Footfall is exhausted and wounded by Corda's cruelty. I'm going to have shelter set up where those in need and pain can find a roof over their heads. Sustenance and medical aid. The entire gathering glorifies your name with a joyful chant. In their eyes you see hope with a dash of mistrust. The station's inhabitants aren't used to such magnanimity. However, something in your voice gives them hope that you're not putting on a show. That perhaps this is the beginning of a new and less grim period in the station's history. As it should be. It is sad that we had to take out Harmonious, but to be fair, he was acting a bit wacky, I must admit. I am half tempted to also delve into shuriken catapults at some point, but again, it's something that we have to do that we prefer a heavy weapon, period, so we'll aim for something similar to that. But we do get the Daredevil pistol, which is a really nice tool for a gunslinger, per se. Really depends on what you go with in the end, though. Rapid fire auto guns. 7 to 10, 2-handed. Burst fire seems to be 2, so it's not being reduced, sadly. Oh well.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
It does appear that, Oh.
Is there money to be made?
I don't know where Harmonious is, to be quite honest. Triple Xenos. Is Harmonious... No, he's not among both bodies. Okay, that's interesting. So either he's alive or something's happened to him. Regardless, we have leveled up, so we do have that option. So now let's see what we get. Okay, we can choose between Entrench, Dash, and Controlled Shots. So we can either give a sign that we're opening fire, which we don't need to do because we're not having allies. Controlled Shot basically means that anytime we use, anytime we attack, anybody that is with us automatically dodges the next attack. Dash allows you to dash into 3 movement spaces. And we've got Entrench. The soldier immediately spends all of their AP and MP and gains a 30% bonus to cover efficiency. Next time the soldier uses run and gun, they turn back all spent AP and MP, plus 1 additional AP. It also resets the cooldowns of all other soldier abilities except run and gun. So, out of all of these, I think it's pretty obvious that Entrench is the most potent, but it's not the best. This is probably like a fallback, so that way we can keep more AP and MP, but it's not the best ability. I'm going to grab it anyways, though, because the cover efficiency boost is not a bad thing to have. So we're going to get Entrench, and we can choose a skill check of our choosing, but before we do, we are actually going to equip our proper gear in, and we'll go from there. So, we're going to go type in descending order, as we usually do. And let's see. Well, obviously we're going to need to get our hat on. Well, no, we need to get the proper cloak in, which is the monkey cloak, I think. It is one of these torn up cloaks. There we go. Monkey Hide Cape. Increases all incoming damage except direct damage by -1 plus versatility stacks in percentage. So that's just a potential damage reduction period. So that's good. We don't need to replace the Heart of the Nameless or the Saint Contagious Scriptures because our Iconoclast is giving a +10 all stats, which means... So we're getting 130 boost with this Heart of the Nameless, which is a really good skill check boost. We've got Necklace boosts, which really aren't the most important for us. The straight bonus from Agility and Perception is just too good to pass up. Unless, of course, we want to change it up, of course. Let's see. What would we get if we were to replace it, though? I don't think really anything comes to mind, so yeah. We are going to wear the rate of fire damage boost, because that has helped us a lot already. Alright, what else? We need to replace our gloves, I do believe, and it was the recoil that we wanted, because our recoil currently is absurdly high. I'm actually curious. Hold on. Burst fire 1, single shot 1. Would the rapid fire auto gun count towards this? Because that does matter. Do I really want a 24 max ammo weapon, though, is the thing, with 8 range. Let's see. Is this better? It's a burst fire of 2 from the looks of it, so no, it wouldn't be that great. Versus this, which would be 0. I feel like this rate of fire is just too good to pass up. I don't know. I'll try the heavy stubber for now. I feel like the heavy stubber is just way better than what I'm giving it credit for. Yes, it has a 3 to 6 damage, but we are increasing our damage the more we stack up anyways. So multiple attacks are not a bad thing for us in the end. But I digress. Rambling aside, we need boots, right? Or different types of boots, if I recall correctly. We need the one that gives us dodge, if I'm not mistaken. Or allows us to roll dodge twice, basically. Here we go. It re-rolls failed dodge tests, which is exactly what we need. I'm going to need to increase my commerce and my lore warp and persuasion. So those are the focus here. We are going with entrench, obviously. And let's see. I guess lore warp would probably be the focus because that is the lowest. We're going to increase lore warp by 10. There we go. Now we need to increase our commerce and persuasion at some point, but all of that in due time. There we go. But yeah, now we have the entrench ability. That's a more defensive line bit ability, so we're going to keep that there. We'll put the surefire plan up here, as well as this here, because that's a buff. Let's see. This is a buff, so we'll put that there. This is offensive. These are offensive. This is... yeah, we'll put that there. There we go. Alright, we got our setup. This should be fine now. Hello, Miwa. How are you doing? I am doing quite lovely. How about you?
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Alright, let's get out of here. I think we're going to the Void Dock here, and we'll go from there. Alright, yep, we've managed to leave Footfall, and we have completed the last quest that I wanted to get done here. I'm debating if I want to continue for another hour, but I'm probably not, because I've got dinner waiting for me, but I'll at least finish up what Jay has done for us, and then we'll go from there. Alright. Well, at the very least, we managed to do what we intended to do, which is go to... for this, I stream 3 games every 3 days, or for every, My schedule's... apologies, my schedule's a bit wonky, but, for as much as I try to stream every, day around 3 p.m. MST. Give or take an hour or two. But I usually stream every day, and I usually play this game alongside Minecraft and Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. I usually just mix it up between the 3 and keep it to a schedule. So for Warhammer, I do it every Monday and Thursday, I believe. But yeah. I do try and keep it as daily as possible. We don't need to talk with you. We need to go over to Jay here, I do believe. Whom is not in our usual position, so I gotta move back a bit. Where are you? Jay is... huh. Hold on. Let me move this out. Let's see. Oh no, did I might have accidentally removed Jay from the party. God damn. I appreciate the thought, but I try and keep it to where I don't really... Right now, until I get like affiliate status on either Twitch, Kick or YouTube, I'm not going to be really requesting anything from artists or whatnot. So, I apologize, but I'm perfectly fine. But yeah, no, I'm going to probably have to reload that whole ordeal. I'll deal with that, like, off-camera, though, but yeah. We'll have to get Jay back eventually, but I'll do that in my own time. So I'm probably going to wrap it up here because of that incident. So I apologize for this, but I'm going to have to wrap it here. It sucks that I was not able to do it properly, but that's just how it goes. And I have a weird feeling I'm going to be forced to, yeah, I'm going to have to do it all over again. Damn it. Okay. Well, regardless, I'll wrap it up here. I'm going to have to do that in my own time, but I will do it off camera. I appreciate the thought, but like I said, I'm not interested, Miwa. I appreciate your, goal to, get people to do your work, but I'm going to have to refuse. Like I said, I'm doing it... I'm not going to be accepting such things until I reach affiliate. But I digress. I am going to wrap it up here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I know I did. And I will see you guys next stream. Take care, everybody. And have a good day.